our boys had no reason to do anything with Nolan's phone other than give it back to Christine and her friends later that night.
Well, we saw the way they gave it back, which means Javon's mom and them had to bust in that house and drag it out of their cold hands. Because even when they got there, they was acting like they didn't know what was going on. I find it odd that this gentleman right here called and said, your son's missing. Never bothered to say, I have his shoes, I have his shirt, I have his clothes, and I have his keys. No, I'm sorry. I have his shoes, I have his shirt, I have his keys, and I have the phone. And that's why we're worried about him. That's why. And then when the police show up, you call it the Coast Guard because you're so worried. But when the police show up, you're like, I think he should sleep on someone's couch. It's almost like you were waiting for the clock to run out. And as soon as everybody left Horn Island after 4th of July weekend, then his body naturally floated back. Again, as we listen to these boys' attorneys and we talk about what's true and what's not true, and why you have to go out there crying and show your tears and show you're human and show this is hurting you and show you really want to know what happened to your baby, because people looking at you and the color of your skin and the color of your husband's skin don't believe that you have the same love for your child, right, as they have for theirs. Your child, but you know, it is what it is. That happens with you people, right?
You people.
But getting back to this, let's keep in mind as we move forward, everything these lawyers are saying, you were bought in and paid to push their side of the story. You have no evidence that what these boys are saying are true at all. And if you do, you haven't showed it to us. So until I see it, you know, you can show me better than you can tell me. Why are we listening to these boys have not shown us any evidence that what they're saying is true. Not one phone call, not one text message, not one picture. You have showed us zero evidence that anything that you said happened. At this point, your story doesn't even add up when you look at the logistics about the boat sinking. And that's the only thing y'all have photos on. And that doesn't even add up. So why are we being, like the lawyer said, who's the lawyer? I'll pull up his name. The lawyer, y'all saw me taking notes. Like the lawyer said, like the lawyer said, Eric Hartz of the Eric Hartz law firm that has now conducted an independent investigation. And I'll tell you what, I think they're trying to shame the family out of a GoFundMe. Hear me out. Of course, they're trying to hit them with the who, just like the way I believe also First Tatum was trying to drag them into a public feud so they can be like, see, look at them. They're unwielding. You can't listen to them. They're illogical. That was his goal, but it didn't work because who the hell are you? I know my place. I am a small but mighty, humble but mighty YouTube channel. I know I work for y'all. I know that I show up and I talk about what y'all want to talk about and, you know, and things that I care about, you know. But I'm not going to talk about how expensive things are in Trader Joe's and they're only giving you half the product they used to give you 2 years ago and charging the same price because y'all don't hear about that, right? We are public servants. But I would be so, the arrogance to think that you have the right to go at grieving parents and demand they address your questions. Who are you? Literally, who are you? You are not the feds. You are not part of the investigation. You are background noise at best. At worst, you are misinformation. Who are you to think that you could play cat's paw and start a public battle to discredit and make the grieving mother look emotional? But that's because Officer Django, right? Ex-Officer Django, I believe, judging by his bibliography, as soon as he sees black people, especially black women, right? He automatically dehumanizes them. It's just like, how can you not dehumanize yourself? Every day. It must be, you probably don't even use charcoal activated toothpaste. You don't even want your toothpaste. You don't want nothing dark in your house at all. Probably walls all white. You can only eat chicken Alfredo, and he's probably torn because even though there's no color in the sauce, chicken Alfredo is a delicacy among black households. Everybody got their own spin. You're probably so conflicted. Do I want to eat the black people food? Or do I want to eat the white sauce or the red? He's conflicted every day, I believe. But let me get back on point. Eric Hartz, the law firm, they're conducting an independent investigation. And they're saying that they have been waiting on, and they keep stonewalling them. So this goes back to the federal investigation. See, Mississippi, I do believe, thought they could just stonewall this, right? I hear people in the comments, oh, so no update? Shut your dumbasses up. Not y'all, but the people in the back. Shut your dumbass up. Do y'all not know how this media game works? They are hoping that they run out the clock so that we lose interest and flip on to something else. And then they can quietly come in, and 4 months later, they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's why that girl's body was found hanging behind the abandoned building. They expected that to throw us off the track. It happened in Mississippi, y'all. As we was talking about this case, that happened, and it popped up. Really?
It was a drowning. There was nobody involved. And that would be the end of it. Stop looking at things as, oh, so no update then? No, dummy. This is about media attention. Listen, if you don't want to give to the GoFundMe, I get it. Times are tough. If you don't want to go down to the vigil, I get it. Travel's expensive. But the least we can do is give something that is not free, but it's very valuable, which is our attention.
Hey, right now, y'all, we waiting for Ben Crump and Al Sharpton to, they said they got breaking news and whatnot. So that's the live stream. You see the live stream starting soon? Once it starts, we on it, y'all.
In our time. And every time you click on the update, whether it's on my channel, TikTok,
and give
Instagram,
give it up to Tisha Terra. She live at this moment right now. We both live. She live. What's up, Tisha? Keep up the good work. Let's go.
Every time you click on an article from your desktop, every time you click on something that shows up in your news feed, just even clicking on that makes the powers that be that runs the media thing say, oh, wait, people are still interested in it? Because as much as people be like, oh, my God, YouTube is just clicks and views. Let me tell you something. The whole world right now is on clicks and views, even the media people you respect. And I'm saying this makes them not worthy of respect. But at the end of the day, everybody's bills have to get paid. So when you click, when you listen, when you just tap in, even if it's for 20 seconds, it's 20 seconds that attention goes into everybody's algorithm. And the algorithm is like, yo, people still care about Nolan. Keep this in the forefront of the press. That is the worst. I believe it is the worst thing that Mississippi wants to happen. So you don't have to give money. You don't have to give effort. You don't got to be energy. But for golly, give 20 seconds of your time to keep this in the forefront so that justice can be done. So when people, again, so no update then. This is not a true crime podcast. Podcasts are real people. I think there's something wrong with the world that we act like tragedy is abstract. You look at it, abstract happened in Nolan until God forbid it happens to too. And this goes across race, creed, color, and religion. These are real people's lives. This is not entertainment. Now, granted, it is entertaining us in the fact that we want to know what happened. We want to get to the bottom of it. But this is social activism. It is political activism. Also, make sure everybody go out and vote. Because, yeah, it is social activism. It is political activism. That 20 seconds, that time just to click in and say, so no update then. This is not season 3 of Homelander, okay? This is not season 3 of Homelander. This is real life. And we got to take the attention. But getting back to, I know I keep getting off track, going back to the feds and why the Congressional Black Caucus that sits on the Judiciary Board, the Black Caucus, and Crump, of course, and Sharpton are going to demand a federal investigation and a civil rights investigation is because it's on federal land. The federal do not have to take a backseat to Mississippi. Now, why is this important? Because Mississippi came out and said, well, guess what? We don't work on Christine's timeline. We're doing our own stuff. It's been 30 GD days. Y'all haven't gotten nothing done. You guys are proving that you're having trouble investigating this. You're not going down for weeds. You're not doing this. Even the way you talk to the family in a...
Tisha, you got two things going on at one time. Pause. Either you stop talking and listen to Al Sharpton, or pause the feed.
Agreed. About the phone. You have not done that. You talk to the family, and the attorneys agreed to do certain things. You have not done that. The autopsy guy's like, yo, I'm sitting on ready. When y'all need me to come, you will not do that. Since you guys are having trouble conducting a basic investigation. And I don't care what y'all say. What else is going on in Ocean Springs, Jackson County?
We could say of state
Did Mrs.
authorities
Kabopos kitten get stuck in the tree again?
even the
What's
Justice
doing?
Department,
What's
even
going
under
on?
George Bush,
Not much is
who
my
runs the
guess,
Justice
right?
Department.
Not much.
We
See what's going on here, man. Uh, bu- 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 Okay. Okay. They definitely live already. Let's see if we could locate that. Hold on, here we go. Let's see this.
Verbally and via text. When she sent me that picture, I was like, oh, completely different color. These are like a blue-gray short. So we have to correct that. But I'm grateful. We are grateful to all of you. Thank you for keeping our son's story alive. And thank you so much, Tiffany, for having us.
I think that's part of our assignment here, our responsibility. So often in newsrooms, we have to defend and define Black life and defend and define our own humanity. And so it makes a difference. The same way in other newsrooms, when you see someone and you feel like they're familiar, that so happens as they resegregate newsrooms and lay off Black journalists in mass, that goes away. So the people in this room have a keen interest in this story because they see your humanity, and that's what we center in this conversation. Rev, put this in historical context for us, because as I look at Mississippi, I don't have to tell you of all people some of the immediate thoughts that surface for us here.
Well, when I got the call from Ben Crump and he had the parents connected, and they told me the story, I'd not heard the story. I heard something about some in Mississippi. But when I heard the details, the thing that jarred me from a civil rights point of view, and I've been working, Ben has come National Action Network for 20 some years on a case, and then in from there on and on and on. And if it's not a civil rights position, we don't get involved. And when they told me that law enforcement said there is no foul play, that's a prejudgment. And I said, wait a minute. They said, the parents repeated to me on the phone. I said, they said it was, this 2 days after it happened. And how do you investigate and there's no foul play and you don't even know what happened yet? So that's what perked my interest. So I said that, well, we'll be involved and we'll help to the best of our ability. Talked another day or two. I said, y'all come to New York, we'll have a national press conference. That's how we broke the story. The first national press conference they did at our headquarters, National Action Network. And then all of a sudden, it was all of this attacks for getting involved. And so, and they asked me to do the eulogy. I said, we'll take care of the funeral. Tyler Perry called me and said, no, I'll take care of it. So the thing that bothered me, one, it was prejudgment. Second, the parents of the guys that were with him started talking about they was going to sue us for getting involved. And sue, I don't even know the kid's name. So you can't say I defame your son. I don't know your son's name. But I will say this on this stage, I want them to sue me first. And I'll tell you why.
Get a GoDaddy website, email, and matching domain bundled together for one low price. It's everything you need to bring your business online.
No, I'll tell you why. And National Action Network, you serve the papers. Because I want to depose your son. If you sue, the plaintiffs are deposed. So rather than us depend on a Mississippi DA who's already had people saying it was no foul, let's go to civil court, any kind of court you want to go to, because you can't make this make sense. And direct to your point, Tiffany, as I said in the eulogy that I did, I don't know what happened. The parents never said they knew what happened. They never said it was racial. I don't know it was racist, but they don't know it wasn't racist. Mm-hmm. You don't know what happened. So why are you prejudging it unless something is there you don't want out? Second thing is, and I said this to Elmer and Kristen, I had hurt my knee. I had torn my meniscus. And when I tore it, I told Ben the truth. I did it working out one morning, but I told them I got it because I was on my knees praying too much. But anyway, when they took me to say they may have to do surgery, the first thing they said is, well, we got to get your medical history from your primary doctor. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. So I said in the eulogy that I don't know what happened, but I got your history in Mississippi. And the history tells me black boy go out with 3 white kids come back. There's a blurred story on what happened. Now y'all all hostile and all upset. Didn't have the keys, but then you had the keys. Some about this don't make sense given your history. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna stay on this until we find out what happened. It may be nothing, but we're not gonna leave that up to chance with people that are distorted. We gonna stay on this case. Mm-hmm. And lastly, since they want to talk about lawsuits, one of the things tying your morning together, Tiffany, they may come back, as you suggested, playing right-wing politics with this, with the local prosecutor, maybe even with the federal people. But if we have a change in January and there is a Democratic House, I said that if Hakeem becomes the speaker, he needs to have the chair judiciary subpoena them to the Judiciary Department, testify on oath. That's what this vote means. Mm-hmm. We need to have a check and balance of government so that we got somewhere to go. We can't depend to go to Trump's Justice Department. Mm-hmm. So we need to really mobilize so people like these 2 parents can protect their children.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you laid out such a great example on how the tentacles of white supremacy cast such a dark shadow over almost every aspect of what parents went through. I know that there's so many more questions that I have, and I'm sure the audience has. As all my broadcasters know, I have an IFB, and they've been telling me to rap for about 10 minutes. We wanted. It was my pleasure to go over time, and not only my pleasure, my responsibility to give you all a platform to share your story. I think it's so important, and I think this is the responsibility that the Black journalists in this room take very seriously and will carry with them back to their newsrooms where they may be the only, or back to their platforms where they are building reach or have a wide reach. So I thank you all for sharing your time and being so open. There will be a press conference. There was an autopsy, a second autopsy that Ben Crump initiated that I believe Colin Kaepernick helped to fund. There were questions around that. And so please, I encourage credentialed media to please go to the press conference, and the access for credentialed media will be on the NABJ app for more information. So I don't want you all to think I didn't have more questions, but I passed the baton to you all to go ask all the additional questions. And I just want to thank all of you all sincerely for being here. And I want to thank you, NABJ, for being such an attentive audience. Please welcome back to the stage.
I guess that's it. The live has ended. Okay. So, all right. Hold on. Let's get back, Tisha. It wasn't much. I don't know. Maybe we missed it.
Accusing Nolan moms of doing that seems like what they're doing, but It is what it is. Constance also said, Tisa, the DA hasn't made a move, in my opinion, because the CETO call can't be erased, and it's reasonable that something was destroyed on Nolan's phone. Now, here's what I agree with you on. I mean, I agree with you a lot, Constance, but it is reasonable to assume that something was erased from Nolan's phone. It is weird to me that they will not meet with the FBI, with the DA, and with the Crump forensic people, because there's an independent investigation. They have a right to be there for wrongful death. They would not be in the same room to download everything at one time. So the chain of custody, because the chain of custody can be challenged if any of those people aren't in a room. And it's weird that they won't actually, and it's weird that these boys are like, oh no, we were there, we were this, we were that. Like the attorneys, oh, I think, yeah, well, it looks like the DA is dragging their feet, which is another reason for the civil rights investigation and for an independent federal investigation to actually go on down. And I do agree with you about one thing. That CETO call, I don't know why well, you know why they released it? Because TMZ gave like a little cleaned up version, which I thought was odd. And they released it to all these media places, because I was like, how do all the media people get it? But that little station WBLX, I think in Mississippi, they actually did a Freedom of Information Act. And they got the audio, the whole audio. And that's where all their stories fell apart. And that's when we started hearing people being like, oh, yeah. Digital Mafia said, girl, read your damn chat. I am reading the chat. I am. Anyway, you guys, listen. I'll try to cut out the garbled part on the live, but yeah, let me know what you think. What's up, Tommy? Tommy Bites TV said, thank you, T said, make me blue, crew. Yes. Listen, at the end of the day, hold on. Let's see. Okay, there you go. You're blue. Thank you. Tommy, if you see anybody getting out of line in the chat, just delete. Don't even delete it. Block them. I believe in blocking agitators, you know? Anyway, you guys, let me be serious. Yeah, there is a lot going on. Let me get out of here because this is a heavy upload day and I really do need to get to work. Now that I've been powered by my matcha, it's time for me to get to work. All right. And you know what? It looks like we are going to get justice for Nolan. Okay. And like they said, just like with Trayvon,
there are a few things that we need to talk about in regards to Nolan Wells' phone and the fact that the family is still in possession of Nolan's phone. We're going to talk about that as well because we do need to talk about that. Okay. And I think that there is a strong reason why they did that, okay? There's a reason why they decided to do that, in my personal opinion, okay? There's a reason. I don't think that it's anything nefarious or suspicious going on the side of the family, which is what some corners of the world are running with, okay? I did a video about that yesterday. I posted it. Not a lot of y'all watched it. It's totally fine. But we are going to discuss that on this particular show as well. All right? But nonetheless, the family is basically begging now for the feds to get involved in this investigation and see if they can unearth some truths about what possibly happened to Nolan Wells. So we're going to get into that here. We're going to be checking out the press conference as well. Okay, that just happened a little bit ago. All right. Yes, I'm a little late to showing you guys what happened, but we're here nonetheless to talk about it. And then there's a part 2 of Brandon Tatum's interview with the boys that we definitely need to talk about and take a look at as well. So, like I said, this is going to be a big Nolan Wells show. All right. So strap on in, sit down, get your libations, get your coffee, your water, your juices, whatever you want to call it. All right. We're going to get into this right now. So again, they were at the National Association of Black Journalists convention today in Atlanta. Okay. And of course, Al Sharpton, Benjamin Crump, and Nolan Wells' parents were there in this interview. And there's so much more that they explained. I'm really happy that we're going to be watching it together because there's some things that were said in the this press conference that give us more insight on like the timeline of everything. When did Warren reach out to Nolan's mama? You know,
It was approximately a little bit after 11 o'clock that evening.
what was the interaction like when they went and got the phone, when they went back and got the keys, etc.? They explain a lot more, okay, in this for sure. All right. Donut, why solidarity is the issue. Thank you so much for the super chat. Why solidarity is the issue. I mean, I think that there's a lot of issues going on here. Okay, multi-leveled. All right. But thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Okay. But yes, I think that there is an issue for sure within that. And that's the thing. I think it has to do with what's going on outside of the case as well. Now, I understand that there's some people that will think that, but there's other things for sure that are going on outside within the perimeter of this case that is becoming white and black. You see what I'm saying? It's getting kind of crazy out here. But nonetheless, let's get into this. All right. So the group is scheduled to attend a press conference. Well, it already happened, just so you know, calling for the DOJ, the Department of Justice, to open an independent federal review into Wells' disappearance and death. So the Congressional Black Caucus is also calling for a closer look at the case. That's also a big freaking deal, in my personal opinion. In a letter sent Wednesday, Chair Yvette D. Clarke and members of the caucus urged the U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Kash Patel to launch an independent review of the actual case. Now, here's the thing. I could have sworn there was already a request of this before. Wasn't there a request of this before? Wasn't there? So I find it interesting that they said the feds were going to be standing on the side. If my memory is correct, they said that the feds weren't getting involved, but they were also on the side just waiting if they need help. You know, if the local PD needs help. Now, here's the problem. We're all side-eyeing local PD, including Nolan Wells' parents.
Everybody. So why the feds ain't stepping yet? Yo, Kash Patel, you ain't doing your job, bruh. You know what I mean? Y'all quick to lock up a couple of people who throwing idle threats because you already know they wasn't going to do nothing. But y'all locked them up. These kids, we believe, committed a murder. And nothing at the whole month. Something is up with that there, Kash Patel. And we believe you should have already been on it.
They don't trust nothing. They don't trust them as far as they can throw them. So shouldn't the feds get involved in this situation? Shouldn't the feds have already been involved in this situation a long-ass time ago?
That's what I said.
Just asking questions.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, they should have been involved a long time ago. You understand? I don't understand what's going on in America right now, where is that clearly they could be trying to attempt to cover something up. And the proper authorities just sit there and allow it to go on and on and on, even though they see what it's causing in the country. That's a little crazy to me. You heard? Come on, mama. It's my mama, y'all. Don't worry about all that. You know what I mean? Fall back. Anyway, let's get back into this.
Questions. Now, hold on. Let me just say this really quick, too. T, I agree. We need solidarity of good versus evil. That's the only division that should matter in a case like this or in cases like this. I agree. But you know how polarizing this case has become. Let's be real. It's either black or white. There's no real in between, right? And both sides can be seen as only seeing it in one way, right? We need more transparency. That's the reason why we need the facts. We need facts and not all this fabricated AI crap or just fabricated stuff. You know, the more facts come out, the more truths, the more understanding we will actually get. That's what I'm hoping for, right? I think that's what we should all be hoping for, right? But moving on, let's get back into this, though. Crump, who represents the Wells family, has also repeatedly called for a thorough and transparent investigation into Wells' demise. Crump's team is also conducting its own investigation. And so are the boys. So are the boys conducting their own investigation, which I'm going to be real. I find that odd. I find that extremely odd. No one else finds that odd? That they're conducting their own independent investigation into this case, into this whole situation? Should they all be trying to, come together and work together? Because I'm sure information that they might uncover might be important information for the Wells family as well. You see what I'm saying? And I get it that the family's not really trusting them, right? They're not trusting them, and it's, you know what I mean? It's just one big situation going on. You feel?
Would you trust them? I wouldn't trust them either. As far as I could throw them. Already, day one, they found my son body. The man just jumped out there and said it was an accidental drowning with no proof. None whatsoever. You understand? He just jumped out there and said that. I wouldn't trust him either, man.
Feel me? But it's so weird. I find it weird. I also find the interviews with Brandon Tatum weird too. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I find them weird. Doesn't matter if they're innocent or not. Doesn't matter. To me, I find it weird. Okay? I find this whole thing very strange. But I guess that's how they're gonna do it, I guess. Okay? Something weird about it, though. All right? But let's move on. Let's continue. Wells was reported missing, which we already know. Okay, an independent autopsy, we already know about that. Let's not forget, pieces of his body did not show up to the second autopsy that was funded by Colin Kaepernick. That independent autopsy did not happen. That's weird. Or that second autopsy did happen, I'm sorry, but he was not able to give a full, thorough breakdown of, hey, this is my diagnosis. Within this investigation, we found X, Y, and Z, and X, Y, and Z shows us that he died from drowning or that he was attacked viciously on the island. You see what I'm saying? But he can't even give us that answer. No answer for that. So that's weird too. Do you see so do you understand why the possibility of the family not giving the phone over to authorities so quickly? Do you now understand why that could be a possibility? Because I know some people are running with that, being like, oh, the reason why is because of this, that, and the third. And it's like, no, I think there's a much bigger reason than what you're laying out right here. And it's because of history. It's because of weird things that are going on. It's because of things like the autopsy, of the second autopsy that was done, saying that his throat was missing. Stuff like that is weird and would give me great pause into giving some potentially viable piece of evidence of a case over to authorities that you don't even trust. But don't worry, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, okay? Real quick, Chelsea, thank you so much for the love. Tatum lied. They never did any lie detector tests. See, that's the thing, too. He said I remember this, too, so thank you so much for that. But he also said something along the lines of something crazy like, yeah, they took some semblance of it. He first said they took a lie detector test. Then he walked it back and said they took some version of a lie detector test. So what is it? Is it a lie detector test that they took, or is it not a lie detector that they took? You see what I'm saying? And that's something that Brandon Tatum said live on Nancy Grace. That's a big problem if you ask me. That's a big problem. But okay. Like I said, all right, that's what you said, Brandon Tatum. Let's see what's going on. Like I said, we need more facts. We need more proof. We need more evidence before we can automatically sit here and say, oh, yeah, they're completely 110% innocent. Or, no, they did the damn thing. We need more proof. Okay? We need more proof. But, Tater Buck, Thank you so much for the love. I'm not making a decision until evidence comes out. I agree. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? Great job, man. Thank you so much, Tater Buck. Appreciate it. Now, here's the thing. We need to, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I agree. Innocent until proven guilty. That's the whole reason why I say, hey, we can all side eye. We can give these kids a soft side eye all day long. But we need more evidence. We need more proof. We need to know what actually happened here. But the fact is that we haven't heard any new updates, really. We're getting some interviews. We're getting, those things that are happening. But we haven't heard anything else, really. No new updates, no nothing. The only thing that people are talking about, aside from this press conference that we're going to be looking at in just a second, is the fact that they haven't released the phone to the authorities. And let me just say this. We definitely need to talk about the phone part. And it's wrong for everyone to be, for those that are thinking that it's something sinister going on, I think it's wrong for them to be taking it that way. Real talk. I think it's ridiculous for people to sit there and say, "Oh, they're not giving the phone to the authorities. It's wrong that they're doing that. How dare they do that?" No, there's a reason why they did it. And I already said this in the video, but I'm gonna say right now.
First of all, man, you get a phone to the authorities, right? What they're gonna do is the same thing they did with the body, right? Being that they found the body first, they did what they wanted to do with the body. They made it look like these boys was innocent. Then they did not even turn over all the parts and pieces of the body. After you've done something like that, I'm not turning over nothing unless we got somebody arbitrarily in the middle watching every move you make, man. You got to be crazy to think that they would not try to take that phone and make it look like what they wanted to look like, bruh. They showing that they have no sense of honor when it comes to things like autopsies. My man, to make that autopsy go smooth, all they had to do was wait for the next coroner to come so they could have did it together, or turn over the recordings that was made at that autopsy with the body, man. Huh? I heard the first coroner didn't even mark off the red marks on the back of the neck. Like he was trying to act like that and he didn't see that either. And the only reason why they probably ain't take that, because then it would have looked like they was just chopping off Nolan's head, man. You understand? I wouldn't give him the phone either without the feds stepping in, man. Where the feds at, man?
Now, and I'm probably going to repeat it again when we cross that bridge again. All right? It's two different things. One, there was an agreement that was made. Two, trust. That's it. One, an agreement was made way before this. Okay? Way before this whole situation of they haven't given the phone to the authorities. It was an agreement that was made. And two, trust. And two, I think is the biggest one right there. Trust, y'all. Trust. But let us get into this press conference. Let's take a listen to what's going on here. Let's rock and roll. I'm going to skip ahead, of course.
In Crump and Reverend Al. And I know you all have other challenges happening around the country that you'll be getting to after this, but I am we are all so honored to meet you, and we are so saddened that we are connecting with you under these circumstances. You know, I want to tell you, they asked me to call them Christine and Elmore. I want to say Mr. and Mrs. Wansley, but Christine and Elmore. I want to tell you, in the audience in this room, but also watching at home, are thousands of Black journalists. But in addition to being Black journalists, these are mothers and fathers, siblings, cousins, aunts and uncles of Black children. And we see your humanity. And we're going to center that in this conversation. I told Christine, if we cry on this stage, it's okay, because we're among family.
Amen.
So you take your time. Christine, I'm going to start with you. On Friday, July 3rd, Nolan made you dinner. And so, as you're telling us about the last time you saw your baby boy, I want you to talk to us about who Nolan was and tell us about that day.
So Nolan is and was an incredible, I mean, just incredible soul. He was the person who, no matter where you were in life, what was going on, he was going to be your biggest cheerleader. And I can attest to that because after COVID, my sister was like, oh, you know, you should do social media. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do social media. I like to just watch
Section Justice for Nolan Wells. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
others. And then Nolan was like, no, mom, you should do it. I'll help you with the videos. I got you. And, you know, just anytime I was like, oh, I just really don't want to do this anymore, Nolan was like, no, mama, you hadn't posted today. And I'm like, I don't want to post. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's the kind of person he was. He was God fearing, God loving. That boy had faith beyond measure. He was just a bright light. And he was our bright light. As far as that day goes, I went to work and he was making salmon. So he was FaceTiming me as I'm trying to see patients kind of in between. Of course, not answering the phone in the room. And he's like, hey, mama, how does this look? Is this enough season? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I was like, okay. I was like, you know, you don't have to do that. And he's like, no, you know, I'm going to take care of it. I was like, okay, sure. And so he finishes cooking, get home. He's like, yeah, what you know about this? And he was, guys, when I tell you, he loved to joke. Like, he was just one of those people. He wanted everyone around him to smile, be happy, feel comfortable and accepted. And that is the kind of person God made him. You know, us as parents, we definitely had that influence, but Nolan was just naturally a peacemaker.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, after that, it was, you know, 8, and then he got ready to go. He did his normal, hugged us up, I love you, Mom. I was like, you know, be safe, knowing this was going to be his last weekend before going back to school because football was starting, the summer training was starting. And this was his second year at Southwest, and so we knew this was going to be a big year for him. Dad and him had been training and doing all these things and really just kind of sitting with him and letting him know, like, hey, you know, we're going to the next stage in your life as well as, you know, your football career. So the focus was there, and he was ready.
So he leaves that day.
He leaves that day with, he drives his car.
Pause, pause.
And
We can't even hear
he
that.
told us kind of
Oh,
a
no.
general, like, hey, you know, we're going to.
That's pretty low. Yeah, hold on. We gotta. Yeah, that's crazy. Let's go here. Hold on. Find a whole nother feed for y'all. Wait a minute, man, cause like I said, that joint was not couldn't even hear it.
In here, I know you've been on a whirlwind. I know you've been traveling a lot. So thank you all. And I know you all have other challenges happening around the country that you'll be getting to after this. But I am so, we are all so honored to meet you
Okay, I
and
don't know what's going on
God
with
and
these
what
live
He's doing
feeds,
in your
but
life under these circumstances.
all of them came out
You know,
low.
I want,
I ain't even gonna do that, man. I ain't playing with no games with them like that, man. Let's get up out of there, man. Yeah. Shit. This part of the show is being sponsored by the stickermill.com. Go to stickermill.com /Dabrand. And your first 10 stickers is on your boy. Let's go.
To where everybody is concerned about being in front of a camera. And it amazes me also how Officer Tatum, how he was able to get off.
Bootlicker. Officer Bootlicker.
I haven't seen this interview. I wanted to do the natural reaction and watch it with you guys. So let's go over here and see what the rest of the friends and the rest of the guys who we did see on the boat got to say about that day on July 4th, 2026. Let's go.
You know, obviously, before this happened, I would assume you were living a regular life. Young guys being in college, you know, having a typical experience. Then you lose your friend.
I think, like, ever since it happened, my life just, like, hit like a hole. Like, you've been going out, you know, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse.
You just met these young men more recently. And are you confident that these young men had nothing to do with it? We have Ed Pausick, Warren, Jax, and then we have Morgan here. And so I talked to Warren last time.
Whoa. One guy is missing. Where's Bart? I don't see Bart. Bart is the name that was being yelled out on that tow call, on that emergency call, the day on the 4th of July when the boat was supposed to be.
Bart said he ain't participating in these endeavors with this nonsense they got going on. You heard?
Sinking. Where is Bart?
Here, we had a really deep conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to get other perspectives now that we have Ed here. Ed is a defamation attorney, and I want to start with you, Ed. You know, why did you choose to work with the boys? What is your plans? What do you expect to get out of working with them? What's your expectations when it comes to defamation?
Well, I think an injustice in one place is an injustice everywhere. I hate lying. I care about the truth, but most of all, it's the actual people who are involved here. So first of all, I just want to say Tyler Cox really welcomed me here. My co-counsel, he's an incredible human being and he's an incredible attorney. And then after that, I had an opportunity to meet these incredible young men. And I just got to say, these guys are unbelievable. Warren, Jackson, Morgan, they're just beautiful people. They're really decent human beings. They're just great people.
You don't even know them. Unless you got family ties or something. I know you just didn't meet them on a defamation of character case. You know, you saying all the good stuff, but how do you know? Do you know them? Was you there on the 4th of July? Did you get the actual truth on what happened? All of his friends that was there, no one seems to know what happened, or someone might know what happened. But you sure is polishing them up real good. These are beautiful human beings. They could be. But you putting a 10 on the 2, man. Let's hurry up and get to the bottom of this because I am tired of the games that's being played. They trying to hush people up, defamation of character, lawyers, and all this old stuff. If this stuff comes out that it was some foul play, man, everybody involved in this who own these signs going to be looking crazy, man.
And, you know, that's why I'm here, because I want to help great people.
That's what I'm saying. I can't wait. Because there's no way they can't tell us what we seeing is a figment of our imagination. Dude gonna get up here literally and say that everything we heard on that Cito tape is a figment of our imaginations. Huh? Them screaming Bart and oh Lord and Nolan and all that. We ain't really hearing what we heard, y'all.
And this is a very sad situation, but it's also a very human situation, and it's a tragedy.
So you guys have, you know, obviously before this happened, I would assume you were living a regular life. Young guys being in college, you know, having a typical experience. Then you lose your friend, Nolan, and after that, what has life been like for you guys?
I think, like, ever since it happened, my life just like hit like a hole. Like, it just stopped. And I mean, we just gotta live day by day from now on. I can say definitely a hole
flip upside down for our lives. It's like even going out, you know, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse. We're really just trying to stay low key and not go out as much or anything like that. You know, it's been hard because my friends and I are people. I would like to be out and hang out outside of our friend group, you know, and not being able to like go certain places or, you know, walk around in public because our head's always on a swivel. It's really affected all of us. I mean, especially in like my family's standpoint, my safety comes first, and my friends and family safety come first too, and it's been really hard because
I believe that's them testing the waters when they go out there and see if the public is going to react to them being out there, right? Because with all this going on, why would you be thinking that all y'all could get together and go to dinner at any restaurant in that little ass town? Huh? Y'all wanted to see if the coast was clear? Well, it's not. It's not. Stay your ass in the house.
Worried about like my family as well with me, and it's hard, but you know we're just going day by day and just trying to get through every day. You know.
Can you give me some examples of what has happened? Have you guys had things happen online, threats online? Have you guys have any examples of?
If they didn't, I know Nolan Wells' mom did. She got threats online. The same threats I'm pretty sure that these guys might have had gotten. You know, people is concerned. People want to know what happened. People want to know the truth. People is tired of hearing about it. People is tired of it being dragged out. And it still amazes me how all these guys still haven't been questioned by the police yet. And it amazes me how all these guys are willing to go on a platform to do content. See, now it became content. It's no longer serious. Now this stuff then turned into a reality show, a TV show, to where everybody is concerned about being in front of a camera. And it amazes me also how Officer Tatum, how he was able to get all these guys, regardless of what people say about the man, he's able to get all these guys and put them in front of a camera, which is pretty genius to me.
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing. You know, I was mad at the bootlicker. I'm like, yo, the bootlicker's really on their side, but subconsciously and secretly, the bootlegger is really putting them on display to show what they really about. You understand? Look, he ain't saying a word. He let them call the other day. They basically called him a goon on the show, huh? Cause we didn't we get along like I get along with him. I get along with you. People like you. Sometimes something to that effect, right? But if you think about it, Officer Tatum is the only one really getting the information we need out of these dudes. Because every time they go on his show and talk about it, they say some incriminating stuff. You know what I'm saying? So good job, Officer Bootlicker. See how I did that there? I put the officer back in your name. Okay, Officer
Okay,
Bootlicker?
I'll give you a warning if I
All right, cool.
interrupt this press conference.
All right, cool, Officer Bootlicker.
So
Hold on, we gotta pause this because the conference ain't that loud, and we ain't gonna stress our ears doing that. So Bootlicker, once again, Officer Bootlicker, we thank you, man.
Because I'm going to tell y'all something. When it all comes out, everything come together, everything will be used in court. This is not something that's just going to fade away. It's going to get solved. Trust me, they're going to get to the bottom of it. These are professionals, whether they want to or whether they don't. Somebody going to feel a need to say, you know what, I don't feel like this is right. Let's get to the bottom of it. If it was an accident, then it was an accident. But the way that things is looking, from all the evidence that we heard, it just looked like something strange happened, man.
Of people accosting you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we have had countless death threats online. Been spotted. I'll let you elaborate more on that. Being spotted. I mean, people have always.
Why you got to talk about being spotted? You said y'all been spotted. Tell them about you being spotted. Why you got to go at him as if this was planned or thought out well? No, if you've been spotted, tell your experience of you been spotted. I want you to tell it. Why do he got to tell it?
So just pointed us out. I mean, as a group and even on a one-on-one setting, I think it's really just like awkward because I don't want to talk about this, and I know my friends don't want to talk about this any more than we need to. You know, we're still mourning one of our best friends' death, and it's hard to speak about it when, you know, like sometimes we just need some alone time, or sometimes we just need to, you know, lay back and not be around all this. And I mean, I've been called out in public, and I haven't been in public that much. I know my friends have had encounters in public. The threats have been insane from, you know, my stepmom, my dad, my mom, just everyone included, like even my brothers and my sisters, and it's just hard. I mean, it's unbelievable where like this has been taken to and the level where this is at.
We say again, you still haven't said nothing about the guy who just told you. Hey, you go ahead and speak on that. He still ain't said nothing about the threats he got. It's all about you, Warren. I guess is that Warren or Wine? I'm not for sure which one that is, but
that's Warren.
You the only one talking about the threats you got. The rest of them guys just sitting there like they part of a big old. Look at this, man. This stuff has became to a good reality show, man.
Been called out in public. Can you give me an example of like, what do you mean? People are threatening you with weapons? People are.
There we go. Now let the guy in the middle with the blue shirt on answer that question.
Or, you know, not allowing you, deny you service? Because I heard that Trayston, he went to a corner store and they told him his money is not good there. They didn't even let him buy Gatorade.
Yeah.
You experiencing things like that or something totally different?
Right. I wouldn't say like that. I think I haven't been denied, you know, anything, but like Trayston, it's hard to hear from a good friend of mine that he's getting denied a Gatorade and a Red Bull before work.
Like that
having to like he calls me, he's like,
all
I
day.
can't believe it just happened. He got called out at Walmart. Someone called him out at Walmart and was like asking him all these questions and trying to press him about it. And it's crazy to me. Like, you know, we live in a very tight-knit community, and for people to, you know, push back and say these things when they know what Ocean Springs is like, it's really hard. And I mean, I don't think I haven't had many personal encounters, but I know being around the guys and stuff like that, they have. So
Warren. We don't want to hear that nonsense, man. What Ocean Springs is like? You mad because your boy couldn't get a Gatorade off what is that? Flight Bull or some Red Bull. My man, there's a 18-year-old boy that's dead and gone, man. And you worry about your boy who clearly got up there and interjected himself into the situation, right? And lied and said he was the one telling somebody to give him back his phone, right? He did that to himself. So if he can't go in the store and buy a Gatorade and a Red Bull, that's the price of interjecting yourself into a situation that you ain't had nothing to do with. You understand? And I think the payoff comes when they plastered his face all over everything, right? Because they saying, how are we going to get him this money if we get him to go out there and say that? All right, we got to set up some type of lawsuit where you told the people you ain't want to be seen, but they plastered your face all over everything. So that's instant grounds for lawsuit. That's how we get him the money. You understand? Now, let's get into this with Officer Bootlicker and this clearly set up, staged interview with these clearly looking guilty boys right here. All right, let's go.
And it is literally right up all of our alleys. Like, that's what we want to do all day. Like, that's the funnest day of the year. And yeah.
I mean, Nolan was with us 2 weeks prior to the 4th of July at Horde Island with no one out there. If we had any intention to hurt Nolan at the island, why would we do it on the 4th of July with thousands of people out there? I mean, it's pretty clear. We literally all went out there for my buddy's birthday, and Nolan was with a whole group of people like we were with on the 4th. So, I mean, that's
Yeah, and it was on like a Wednesday.
It's not like
Nobody
this
was
is.
out
It's
there,
not like
yeah.
this is just like a random like occasion. No,
We go out
do
there
this all the time.
yeah.
And not even just Horn Island, but Nolan's on the boat with us all the time. We all go on
Mm-hmm.
the boat. We all do things together like this. So
I want to get to some pointed questions about the phone situation, because I think last time, Warren, when you and I talked or spoke, you weren't at the house when the phone was recovered. So I want to figure this out. Explain to me, because a lot of people are still online saying that they find it to be incredibly suspicious that Nolan left his phone. Can you explain, did Nolan ask you for his phone back when you guys were leaving? Was it not a part of the conversation? Was Nolan the only person that left his phone on the boat? Can you guys walk me through that idea?
So I can go ahead first and say, nobody has their phone in the water. Even when you jump in a pool, do you have your phone? Like, no, you don't. You're not gonna bring.
See what he just said? So that right there would make your boy Tristan look like a big liar. Right? Because clearly he said he was yelling for his phone. Why would he have his phone in the water? He said he was in the water before he got into a fight. Whatever reason, why would his phone be out there? Clearly he just said nobody takes their phone in the water. So why is Tristan calling for his phone? Because clearly he was in the water. He said he told his girl, I want a beer. She said, well, go get it yourself. And then she dove under the water like Aquawoman and swam off. And then he got into a confrontation with a dude telling him, stop talking to your girl like that around me. He told the guy, we good, mind your business. And the guy duffed him. They started popping. He popped off on him. Then his uncle gave him the third eye and he jumped on the boat. So clearly, if you're not in the if you're in the water, your phone is on the boat. So why would he be calling or screaming out loud for somebody to give him his phone? If he just was in the water, your phone should be on the boat. And you and your girl were swimming around, so clearly you ain't got your phone on you. So why you say you was telling somebody to give you your phone back again, Tristan? I don't think that was you, and we think you're a liar. And your boy just clarified that whole situation up for us. Let's go.
Your electronic in the water. So what everybody does is they stick their phones on the dash of the boat and they forget about it because you don't have good service. You can't even send a picture through from Horn Island to like somebody else. And so they put it on the phone, and even as teenagers, we don't really get on them. We go out there and we conversate and we see a bunch of people that we usually don't see on a day-to-day basis, that we graduated high school with, guys that graduated before us. You know, it's a big meeting, like seeing all your friends that you haven't seen in a while. And so whenever we were coming back in, he didn't even think about grabbing his phone. He never asked about his phone, along with 5 other people that also left their phones on the boat, and we had to wait at the boat launch for them to come and pick them up, including Javon. I mean, Javon left his phone on our boat.
Yeah, and Javon is one of the guys in the friend group.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Javon's a friend of mine, friend of ours. Like, not as tight as Nolan. Javon's in the class under me in school, and he's a friend of mine. But just like a lot of our other friends, Javon's our friend. He left the phone on the boat because we're trustworthy people. We're not going to steal something. We're not going to delete pictures off of someone's phone. We're not going to delete text messages. We're not going to get on anyone's phone because we have no reason to. But Javon left his phone. And we gave Javon his phone back along with everybody else who left their phone on the boat. So
yeah, we'll get to that because I think I have the timeline in my mind. So you guys, the boat is taking in water. You guys, you had already left, Morgan, right?
I didn't.
You had already left.
Just said about Javon.
Javon left his phone. And we gave Javon his phone back along with everybody. Ours, like, not as tight as Nolan. Javon's in the class under me in school, and he's a friend of mine. But just like a lot of our other friends, Javon's our friend. He left the phone on the boat because we're trustworthy people. We're not going to steal something.
Why would Javon's phone be on your boat, bruh? Like, make this make sense, my man. Listen to what the dude just said. Javon left his phone. So they trying to, this is what they, every time something come out, they try to clear it up by saying something like this. Oh, you know, because Javon left his phone. What boat he left his phone on? Because clearly Javon was on his own boat when he pulled up, bruh. So Why would he take his phone off his boat, put it on your boat to the point you would have to give him his phone back? You're not making no sense, bruh. Javon took off. Javon got there before them on his uncle's boat, y'all. Right? Javon was supposed to been riding with them, right? His uncle called him and said, listen, man, I need you on this boat because I'm taking some people out there to the island and I'm going to need you to work the boat because these people ain't going to help me do the things that you need to do when you're taking the boat out. So he did not go with them. He went with his uncle a half an hour earlier before the rest of them followed up, right? So Javon and his uncle was already at Horns Island when these clowns pulled up. Javon told these dudes, pull in here, pull in here, pull in here. Why would he take his phone off a perfectly good boat and put it on a boat that was later going to be having problems? You are putting your foot in your mouth, young man, because every time you concoct one of these crazy little stories, it make you look silly, man. We already know Javon came in on his uncle's boat, bruh. And they had, I claim he said they had at least 11 people on his boat, right? So why would he take his phone off his boat, right? Get in the water, clearly get to shore, get back in the water with the same, and then leave it on your boat, man. He's trying to create some type of alibi as to why this man would be yelling for his phone. But clearly, you making it look bad, man, for you and your boy, because your boy clearly said he pulled in with his uncle, man, on their own boat. On his own boat. So why would his phone be on your boat, bruh? Let's go, man.
We're not going to delete pictures off of someone's phone. We're not going to delete text messages. We're not going to get on anyone's phone because we have no reason to. But Javon left his phone. And we gave Javon his phone back along with everybody else who left their phone on the boat. So
yeah, we'll get to that because I think I have the timeline in my mind. So you guys, the boat is taking in water. You guys, you had already left, Morgan, right? You had already left on a boat. So there's 3 boats. You had already left about 5 minutes before this situation happened. The last 2 boats was Bart's boat and Wyatt's boat, and those are the 2 boats that left out because Bart was kind of towing Wyatt's boat out. So you guys are on the boat. What was the conversation with Nolan? Because Nolan obviously had come in on Wyatt.
Yo, bootlicker, stop trying to clarify this up, because first of all, if your boat is on the shore and you sinking, why the hell would I have somebody tow me out to deep water, man? You signing this bootlicker, man. I'm telling you, you headed down the road again. The officer took back off your name, and you just a bootlicker once again, man. Because why would you be on the shore? You just said the 12-footer left already, right? The 12-footer left, right? Now these 2 are leaving, Bart, right, and Wyatt, right? Why would you tow a sinking boat out to deep waters, right? Then call for a tow and cancel it at the same damn time. My man, they making you look stupid by even trying to clarify this dumb shit they talking, man. God damn the bootlicker.
Wyatt's boat, you guys are all getting ready to leave. So what was the communication like with Nolan?
So actually Wyatt was saying, told Nolan, because Nolan's with this girl at this point. They're together. Wyatt looked at Nolan. He was like, dude.
That just sounds so fabricated, man, you know, because Nolan was at this girl at that point, you know. He was with the girl at this point, you know, Nolan. He was chilling with the girl at this point. At this point, he was chilling with the girl, right? So why you looking down, around, up, and look at your boy Warren right now. He look like, oh, God, let's see what he gonna say about this shit right here. Let me give y'all a close-up of this shit right here. Hold on. Because these dudes clearly think we fucking idiots. These niggas is not the brightest tools in the shed, y'all. You understand me? Look at these faces close up, man. Let me give it to y'all. Hold on. These dudes are clearly not the brightest, the sharpest knives in the shed. Look at his faces, man. Look at this dude. He looking at, oh God, what are you getting ready to say? Oh shit. Huh? What we talking about here? Hold on. Hold on. Let's get back to this. All right, Officer Bootlicker. You know what I mean? Don't get the officer took back off your name and just be the bootlicker trying to help these little goofies out. All right, let's go.
Come on, boat's taking on water. We got to go, like right now. And
Who said that? First of all, let's do this again. Put it back. Let's start him over saying this shit because he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo. Look at him.
And those are the two boats that left out because Bart was kind of towing Wyatt's boat out. So you guys are on the boat. What was the conversation?
Once again, why you ain't asking what time was that, man? What time was that? And why would you have Bart tow a boat out to deep water if it's sinking? Huh? Answer the question, man. And why would you call for a sea tow and then cancel it at the same damn time? If you already had a tow, why are you calling sea tow? Like, come on, man, make it make sense.
Conversation with Nolan, because Nolan obviously had come in on Wyatt's boat. You guys are all getting ready to leave. So what was the communication like with Nolan?
so, actually, Wyatt was saying, told Nolan, because Nolan's with this girl at this point. They're together. Wyatt looked at Nolan. He was like, dude, come on. Boat's taking on water. We got to go, like right now. And Nolan didn't want to go. He said he wanted to stay with the girl.
Why the f would I get on a boat that's taking on water, my man? Like, you sound crazy. Me as a black man, I'm going to tell you right now, if you tell me this boat is taking on water, I'm not getting on no boat going anywhere, right? And I would think it's real stupid of you to go anywhere on a boat that's sinking. Who agrees with that, man? Like, if they tell you the boat's sinking, I'm gonna get on it and go. Right? If you at shore and the boat is sinking, why would you go out into deep water? Yo, it's an hour trip home. It's an hour. It's gonna take an hour to get home on a boat. Y'all got here in an hour on a boat that wasn't sinking. Right? So to go back on a boat that's sinking don't make no sense, bro. You would think you would call a sea tow when you right there on the shore and notice the boat is sinking. How did the water start taking on water in the first place if it's anchored in a situation where y'all just sitting there? These dudes are clearly sitting here making all this shit up as they go along. You understand? Good gracious, man. This is just irritating to see.
And Wyatt started yelling at me. He's like, Nolan, get on the boat now. And Nolan's like, no. And then finally, Wyatt's like, Nolan, get on the effing boat right now. We are leaving right now. And Nolan said he had another ride back, and we had no more time to waste. We got to get the boat out of there before it goes under.
And it was that, and when Nolan said that,
y'all literally, it was to the point where y'all was really worried about the boat even going under? And y'all still got on it and took it out into deep waters? Y'all must be some brave little souls, man. Because I know I wouldn't have did no shit like that. I'm not getting on no boat if you telling me it's sinking. Right? And then why is talking about get on the motherfucking boat, it's sinking? What? Nolan Wells of a friend went on TMZ and he said, I was talking to Nolan and then another one of my friends got into a fight and I had to go check on him. Why is Nolan the only one not trying to check on nobody? Right? Because clearly they all came out here together, especially the dude that he said was fighting Tristan. That's the thing I don't understand about Nolan's other friend that went on TMZ. He said, I had to go check on my other friend that got into a confrontation with somebody. And when I came back, Nolan and the people who came with was gone. And I ain't seen them for the rest of the day that I was there, right? And then come to find out, the person he said got into the confrontation was the same guy that was yelling, "Give me my phone back." Right? Huh? Is that making any sense to y'all? Because that same guy say he just walked past Nolan. Right? And then 10 minutes later, he was in a fight. So I guess the 10 minutes later that you was in a fight was the time when Nolan was talking to Trayvon's, right? His other friend. And then he noticed the fight and he took off and came and saved your life and left Nolan with the girl. Because you just said 10 minutes ago you saw Nolan and he was with the girl. You were so drunk you had to tell Nolan that you love him. I never told him before, but I was so drunk at the time, I was feeling emotional. I told him I love him, and I told him something funny about the girl he was with. Yeah, you with that girl, huh? You're all worried about the girl. And then when you left this dude, obviously, after his uncle told him to get on the boat, you made sure he was good. You came back, and Nolan was nowhere to be found. Something ain't adding up, y'all. Something ain't adding up. Let's go.
Like, was there an issue that you believe that Nolan would be able to get back, or were you concerned?
So what I can say is I've been out countless times on one boat to Horn Island and came back on another.
They all got this same situation going on where now mind y'all, these dudes own boats, right? They making up scenarios where there's no reason that should ever have to happen to them. Because Warren said the same thing already. Yeah, there was plenty of times I went out there on one boat and came back on another. But why? When you guys own your own boats. And now he's clearly saying the same thing Warren said. Yeah, there's plenty of times I went out there on one boat and came back in another. Yo, I mean, just listen to what they say, y'all. Because you could clearly tell that they not telling the truth.
I've done it before where I went out on one boat and my friends left and I just know so many people out there. I didn't even think about, do I have a ride already set up? I just know so many people out there that I'm like, okay, there's 100% sure.
You ain't even think about whether you had a ride set up. Chances is you could have been left on the island. You was having so much fun. That right there, sir, says that you are a goofy, right? You are goofy. For you to even say that about yourself.
I can find a ride back, and which I have before, you know? And it's one of those things where it's at Horn Island.
First of all, Nolan ain't obviously on the same level as you guys because y'all own your own boats, man. So he would not be in the position to say, I'm going to leave myself out here and catch a ride back on somebody else's boat. How you just invite yourself onto somebody else's boat, for one? Huh? How you don't know all the boats that came out here to the capacity, whereas there's nobody else can fit on one of these boats on the way back? Idiots, man.
You don't even have to know somebody to ask for a ride back in. They're going to bring you in. You know, it's not like, oh, are they going to bring me in or are they not? Should I ask? No, if you ask anybody out there, 100%, they'll bring you back
Southern
in.
hospitality.
Yeah,
You're in South Mississippi.
I mean, we had somebody.
The boating community is so tight knit. Like, it doesn't matter like who you are. If someone sees you struggling on the island, no matter the case, they will come and help you. They will.
So, nobody saw Nolan struggling. Nobody came to his rescue. None of that. You said there's thousands and thousands upon people in boats lined up 3 rows back, and nobody came to Nolan's aid. Nobody, man. Not one of these thousands of people with this southern hospitality that y'all sitting here clearly trying to make us believe y'all got going on Horns Island, the lawless island, huh? where the police just don't go because there's no reason. It's a Fed-owned island, right? So out of all these thousands of people, nobody stepped up to help Nolan Wells out. He just turned up dead 2 days later in the same spot where he was last seen, which is another thing that's virtually impossible to happen, bruh. Let me show you. For all those don't know what I'm saying, let's do this. Remember when we was kids, man, we used to go outside and the fire hydrant be on, and it's causing the water to run down to the drain at the corner, right? Because it follows the pitch of the street. What we used to do, man, we used to get some bottle tops. We go to the top and we drop them in, and we drop them in that stream and let it and watch it, and we follow them all the way down. They're going in between cars. They're going around the tires. We follow them down. That would be the same thing that would happen if you was to drop a body in that type of body of water right there, where they claim these currents are so strong, the riptides will take you off your feet. And what else is there? There's a whirlpool effect going on out here. With all these conditions, somehow, the one person whose phone wound up in your boy's truck, whose car and keys wound up at your man's house, came victim of those circumstances with 1,000 motherfuckers on the beach. This is what they expect us to believe. We don't believe y'all, man. We don't believe it. We don't believe it, man. Not even a little bit, man. Right?
They will do anything in their power to help you and bring you back to the mainland.
I'll put another example out there. We know.
Once again, why nobody help Nolan, man? Why nobody help Nolan? Why nobody help Nolan, bruh?
Another kid who was pretty intoxicated out there, and he couldn't find his boat. And he asked somebody random that he didn't even know if he could catch a ride back with them. And they were like, yeah, got him on the boat, called his parents, told them the situation was going on, and then took him back on inshore.
And that happened this time, or is
4th of July? This 4th of July.
This current 4th.
So you guys you leave. Nolan is there. I'm based on what you're telling me, I'm perceiving that you guys are accepting that.
Clearly they had his phone, so he was able to call his moms and tell them that somebody's bringing him in. But you guys took off with Nolan's phone. Took off with it. Clearly. Left him on the island with, the girl, the Katie. Huh? Man, knock it off with this nonsense, man.
Nolan's going to get a ride back somewhere else. Y'all taking on water.
They can't. Yo, you see how this, bootlicker, man, you getting on my nerves for real, B. I'm going to keep it 100, bootlicker. You getting on my nerves, man. Shit like you sitting here trying to clarify this shit this nonsense, man. Would you do that, bootlicker? Would you come in with these people and then tell them, nah, I ain't going with y'all, I'm going with somebody else? Huh? Oh, man. Hold on, man.
Explain to the audience.
Pause for a minute. Pause. Let's see what's going on here. Let's go. Oh, hold on. Who we got? Let's see. Okay, so let's go to your boy Warren, right? And Tristan's first interviews with the bootlicker. All right? Let's do that for a minute. Let's recall what they said at one point in time. Check it out.
Nolan Wells friends can hide what they're hiding for much longer. And for legal reasons, I have to tell you guys to use your imagination when I say they can't hide what they're hiding for much longer.
That's right.
Things are coming out at a pace we've never seen before, and every single detail is contradictory to whatever story they're telling the public lately.
Yep.
There's been some new evidence that have surfaced in the last 48 hours that completely debunks their response to the CETO call, their response to the GPS data, their response to the last time they seen Nolan, their response to Nolan not being on a boat. But before we get there, let's rewind a little bit to the beginning so we can get their idea of their entire timeline. And I'm gonna be using the help of my girl, J. Megan. Now, this is the complete timeline of what they're saying took place.
Okay, this is my full Nolan Wells timeline with my supporting evidence. There were 3 votes in their group that day: Palm Beach, the Triton, and the Tideline. By the way, if you like my work, you can support me in my bio, because by the end of this video, I'll be dropping never-before-seen evidence. Anyway, back to the timeline. Warren said they got there at 10:30, even though the GPS said that they dropped their waypoint at 11:19. He said the Tidecraft, the Palm Beach, and the Triton were all, like, anchored up next to each other. At 3 o'clock, he gets into a fight with some stranger who didn't like the way that he was talking to his girlfriend, because, I mean, look at the way he was talking in this interview. I don't blame them. And they had a fist fight. His uncle was like, "We're getting the hell out of here."
I remember at one point in time, I look over and I see my uncle.
And don't forget that he said they had like 11 people on that boat that they brought out to the island. So being that he got into a fight, everybody that came on the boat with him had to leave too. So he just ruined everybody's 4th of July, went back to the mainland, and went to bed until 11 o'clock. Who believes that?
And my uncle's yelling at me to get in the boat. I stopped fighting. As soon as me and him made eye contact, I got an uncle. I got in the boat.
Then Warren says that his brother was also involved in the same fight.
He'll come up to me and say, "Hey, your brother just got in."
That's what I'm trying to get at. If his brother was involved with the same fight, that would mean that Nolan's other friend, Trayvon, was involved with, that's the same fight that he witnessed. Because he said he was talking to Nolan. His other friend was in some distress, and the friend that he claimed was in distress was this dude sitting here, right? Right? He said by the time he went back 20 minutes later, Nolan was gone. And so was the boat that the people he came in with. So that would have to mean that that would have to mean that what they did, they all, because they keep mentioning the boat that Tristan came in on, right? That would make 4 boats, man. 4 boats total, because Tristan came in on his uncle's boat, right? The boat that left at 3:30 so panicky because he just was in a fight. Who he's in a fight with? Nobody knows. Warren said by the time he got to the scene of the fight, they was dragging somebody off, but he don't know who it was that they was dragging off. Huh? You're on an island where you could clearly see everything for miles. Ain't that what your lawyer said? So how is it that you don't get to see who they dragging off out of the fight?
And obviously, I have a younger brother, and that's what she was talking about, and I was freaked out. So I walked over to the beach, and I didn't walk over. I ran over. I made a beeline. I talked to anybody, put my drink down, and walked over there. And my brother was kind of angry, and there's a lot going on, but someone was getting pulled away. I don't know who it was, and my brother was like, "Oh, I just got in a fight," and this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back. Then I went to the ground. My brother put him in an armbar.
You heard that? Someone was getting pulled off. I obviously don't know who it was. That's what he said. Let's run that back for a hot second. Somebody was getting dragged off, but he didn't know who it was. Huh? Well, make this make sense, my man. You just came up and said your little brother was in a fight, right? You ain't gonna see all players involved?
Just got in a fight, and obviously, I have a younger brother, and that's what she was talking about, and I was freaked out. So I walked over to the beach, and I didn't walk over. I ran over. I made a beeline. I talked to anybody, put my drink down, and walked over there. And my brother was kind of angry, and there's a lot going on, but someone was getting pulled away. I don't know who it was, and my brother was like, "Oh, I just got in a fight," and this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back. Then I went to the ground. My brother put him in an armbar, and
He never said he got into a fight. By the time he got to the fight, it was over. His brother was explaining to him that the guy punched him in the face and he punched the guy right back. But somebody was getting dragged off. He ain't know who it was. You understand? Listen to what the boy just said.
Absolutely not. When I was over there, there was a bunch of younger guys like my brother's age, and I mean, I never saw Nolan over there. Absolutely not. And okay, sorry, I just lost something.
Clearly you don't know who you saw, because you ain't even see who they was dragging off. You understand what I'm saying? That could have been Nolan right there. Maybe Nolan was one to punch your little brother in the face. Right?
The minute they asked, was Nolan involved in that altercation, he lost his train of thought. But okay. Now let's pause right here. That was around 3 p.m. Tristan got into an altercation. Simultaneously, Warren's brother was involved in an altercation around the same time.
And guess what? And guess what else? Nobody even explained who was these people fighting who was you fighting on this side of the island? Who was this dude fighting on that side of the island? Then near one of them ever told us who they was fighting with, right?
Warren nor Tristan have came out and said these altercations was connected. That's something that they have left out, by the way. They have never came out and said, yo, these altercations was connected. Because I think once you admit, yo, these altercations was connected, you would then have to say, hold on, bruh. So Warren, Tristan, two of Nolan's quote-unquote best friends were involved in altercations and in fights. Nolan was with the group, but
he didn't get involved. He was too busy over there chilling with the girl, Katie, the girl. So they're making Nolan look like a little horny, drunk toad that was on Horns Island just freaking off while everybody else was in here brawling. Nah, man. Nah. Listen to what Warren just said. When he got to the scene, they were dragging somebody off, and he didn't even know who that was. Even though we on Horns Island, you can see from here all the way down. Where they drug him behind a rock pile or some shit. We're like, why you couldn't see who was getting dragged off? Where they took him to.
You didn't see Nolan nowhere in sight? I don't know, bruh. That don't seem. If my two best friends were involved in fights, the first thing you're gonna see me is running towards the altercation.
There you go.
Especially if we're in the same group, but we're all nearby each other. You get into
we all nearby each other. Tristan pulled up 10 o'clock, he said, but the GPS say 11 something, right? He pulled up at 10 o'clock. He said Warren and Barton, the whole rest of the crew pulled up at 10:30. He told them tie off here, which means y'all all was tied together. They trying to make it seem like one boat was way down there, Nolan boat was way over there. No, my man. We ain't even trying to hear none of that. All of Nolan Wells people was in a brawl, and I'm over here chilling with Katie, Katie, the girl.
Well, fight. Your two best friends are involved in altercations. You not coming to check in on a best friend? My theory, in my personal opinion, I think Nolan may have been in more proximity to that quote-unquote altercation or that quote-unquote fight than they're leading on. But again, we can't prove that, so let's just continue with their timeline.
Yeah, let's go
with
that.
But that's the first discrepancy. 3 p.m., Tristan was involved in a quote-unquote fight. Warren was involved in a quote-unquote fight. They have refused to say whether or not those two fights were connected.
And remember, that's the last time Warren said he saw Nolan. It was 3 o'clock. He was hugged up with the girl, Katie. But then later, 4:30, he heard his boy Wyatt telling Nolan, get on the boat. That don't make no sense, bro. You just told us the last time you saw him was 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock was the fight. But Nolan was over here with the girl, so how you seen him then even?
But what they're both saying is Nolan was nowhere near this altercation. He was nowhere involved. Even though his two quote-unquote best friends were involved in altercations.
And he the only one with a missing phone. And there just happened to be some footage that popped up with somebody saying, give me back my phone.
Near him, he was nowhere involved, that he never came over to check up on them or get involved.
You get ready to go. There's an issue with the boat. Okay, yeah. This is getting up to that. So the fight happened. Your brother or the scuffle. I'm assuming that it was cleared up. You got your brother out of this situation, and then how did you find out that this boat is sinking? Well, I walked back over.
Cool. So you see, I just jumped over the fact, well, who was involved with the fight? Like, these are backup questions you're supposed to ask when somebody said they was just in a brawl. If you was just in a brawl, who the f was you fighting with, man? Huh? Who was your little brother in a fight with, man? Who was your brother fighting? Huh? Who was Chaston fighting? All these people was in an altercation, but nobody know who they was fighting. Where's the witnesses that witnessed that? Since somebody coming up with two people that know Nolan for all his life witnessed him on the island after 6, why none of y'all witnessed these two altercations? And who the people that were involved? Like, what's going on?
Like, we're probably around each other for a little bit. I mean, I wasn't thinking anything of that. I told my brother off the beach. I was just like,
listen, get in the water, hang out with us, calm down. I mean, he was calm, but I didn't want anything else to happen, you know. And so once I got back over the boat, I got on the Triton, and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom. And I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Wyatt, and that was his boat. And, you know, no water's coming.
Hold up, y'all all here for however long period of time. Are you trying to let us say, so you trying to tell us nobody was on that boat the whole time y'all was there? That nobody noticed the water when it first started leaking in, that when you finally got on there, it was so high that you was panicked? We don't believe you, my man. There's people all over all those boats, man. At least one person on every one of those boats, man. Right? So for you to say you got on the boat and realized, hold on, let's say when he said he realized this again, man, because he's a goofy. He's the biggest goofy of them all.
You know, and so once I got back over the boat, I got on the Triton, and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom. And I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Wyatt, and that was his boat. And, you know, no water's coming out, no excess water's coming out, and, you know, it was a big issue. Because I think the reason was because...
But it's not your boat. It's Wyatt's boat. You realized that the boat got 6 inches of water in it. Why you didn't call your boy Wyatt? Like, yo, Wyatt, what's going on with the boat? Huh? Why you ain't, yo, Wyatt, what's going on? The boat sinking, bruh? Huh? Where Wyatt at this time?
There's so many people getting on and off the boat. At some point, the boat was very, very crowded, and there's just a lot of people on, so it drags water.
Yeah, that's not how boats work. Boats don't flood getting in and out of water. Mind you, I'd also like you guys to see that they are in much shallower water than they claim. But I digress. As someone whose parents have had several boats in their life, boats don't just start sinking because people are getting in and out of the water.
That's what I'm saying. They drove all the way there on the boat. Had no issues. But no sooner they park and dock the boat, how the water starts coming into the boat, my man. Like, make that make sense. How the boat start taking on water, bruh? Because people getting on and off the boat? Nah, man, nah.
They were trying to run as well because there is an underage kid who just got into a physical fist fight on the island. All of them are drinking and driving boats, so they're trying to hightail it out of there.
Nolan is 19 years old. Warren, I believe, is 19 or 20 years old. The oldest person there in that friend group was Bart, who was 21. But Warren claims his younger brother was much younger than them. Much younger, what, 3 or 4 years? So a freshman or a sophomore in high school. He was on the island, surrounded by underage drinking. Let's just say possibly, right, a freshman or sophomore in high school was also drinking. Any other case, there will be somebody in cuffs and in jail right now, which already tells you that there's collusion happening. Powerful people in that city is connected. You know, this is a really small town, and these kids' parents are judges or doctors in this really small town. They must be connected to governors, mayors, government officials, sheriffs, because any other case, right, the person that's guilty of providing liquor to freshmen and sophomores in high school possibly, and freshmen in college, they will be in jail, especially when you take into consideration that the liquor, according to them, Nolan was sloppy drunk. Now, Nolan's mom says she don't believe it, but they said he was sloppy drunk. So according to them, Nolan was sloppy drunk, and that may have contributed to him drowning. Any other case, the person who provided, right, liquor would at the very least be charged with like delinquency of a minor. Like at the very least, at the most probably manslaughter, right? Because your actions contributed to the death of somebody else. No charges have been brought. But I digress. Let's get back to the timeline. 3 p.m. was when the altercation with Tristan and the altercation with Warren and his brother took place. Nolan, according to them, was not involved in the altercation whatsoever. He was nowhere around. But somehow, 3 p.m., when they said, after the fight, they hauled butt back to the boat to get him out of there. That's when they last saw Nolan, they said, at 3 p.m. So Nolan was close enough to where in a rush to get back, y'all see Nolan, but Nolan was not close enough to come to the rescue of his two best friends involved in fistfights and physical altercations. Okay, that's strange. Okay,
Strange
so
ain't
3
the word.
p.m. was when they, quote unquote, last saw Nolan, which is also contradictory to them saying we was calling for Nolan to get back on the boat at 4:30. But let's continue with the timeline.
Now, Warren goes into so much detail that he accidentally explains what really happened, but not in the way that he was saying it.
I think every time we were out there for a couple hours, the boat just started filling up with water. So I popped the starboard side hatch, and the battery was completely underwater. And so the motor wouldn't turn down. I mean, my buddy would go to turn it down from the console, and it turned down,
and then it comes right back up.
Now, trimming the motor means they move the propeller closer to the transom and it lowers the bow, which means they can drive through choppy water without risking that choppy water to come into the boat. Failing to trim your boat up and taking off at a high speed can not only overheat very quickly and cause it to shore, but if waves are high, it won't cut through the wake and it will cause the boat to porpoise and possibly have rough, choppy waters get on your boat.
So, I mean, on the way out there, it was pretty calm. I think it was blowing like 3 or 4 knots. I mean, the waters were clear. It was a great day to be on the water. Sunshine, not cloudy at all. And I mean, it was a great day to be out there on 4th of July. And so, I mean, we followed each other out, and I mean, it was calm. It was calm. On the way back, it was a little more rough, but it was not anything all my buddies' boats couldn't handle, or like it wasn't like they were getting beat, really beat.
Now, as you can see, it is tilted up here in the back, and look how low the front is. He admitted that they hit choppy water at one point, so not that hard of a stretch to think that the water started coming over the boat, and that's when they were in trouble. That's when the bilge pump stopped working. Because Warren, when they claimed that they were leaving and he was jumping into action because it was sinking, he says this.
Maybe disabled so you could get it out. Correct. Horn Island. So what happens after that?
Wyatt jumps in the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and my buddy Byron is sitting looking and trying to pull trash out the bilge, and the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the water, the access water out of the boat. So the bilge was failing to work. So any access water just sitting in the boat wasn't getting pumped out. So I looked over the gunnel and I looked at the release hole for the bilge and it was eating with the water. So I mean, we're all freaked out. All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well then, eventually, my buddy Bart on the timeline is like, I'm gonna pull you all out.
So even though they were still on the island, he jumps out and throws out an anchor? Why did they pull the anchor up to begin with if they were sinking? If they were sinking, why was Bart offering to tow them out? Why would they risk being that close to the island and that close to ground to sink out further? Because again, look at how shallow of water these boats are in.
The reason why that's important is because if they tried to haul butt up out of there first and they went a little deeper and then came back once they realized, oh, yo, we're sinking, that matters because TMZ, Tatum, and all these people have been saying, oh, look, there's this photo of them. You know, they're on the water, they're sailing away. Nolan is nowhere in sight. That could have been around 3 p.m. when they were trying to haul butt up out of there without Nolan, and then realized, oh, yo, we can't go nowhere, like we're sinking, and they came back to shallow waters. Because it wouldn't make sense to start off on shallow waters, realize you're already sinking, which, again, how can you sink on shallow waters? That makes no sense as well. But to realize, oh, damn, yo, we're on, like, shallow waters. We're near land, right? Like, the boat is docked near land on shallow waters. We realize we're already, like, sinking, but we're going to
go to deep water?
Sail to deeper waters where we have where there's a chance of us to, like, fully get engulfed by the water. That wouldn't make sense, right? And how they describe it, where, like, the water was, like, overflowing the boat, that wouldn't happen where they were docked. Like that was like literally like shallow waters. Like, bro, you could see like, bro, like their feet, like the water don't go past like damn near like their ankles or something. So that photo could be undermined if they were trying to haul butt up out of there at 3 without Nolan, came back once they realized they can't, and then spent another hour and 30 minutes trying to fix this boat problem. And the only reason why that's important is because the narrative has now been, I mean, y'all seen the picture. There's no chance, impossible, that all these theories y'all are putting out there is true. But when you look at things like this, you can't rule out the possibility the boat may have came back within an hour and 30 minutes. Nolan may have been killed. Or Nolan may have been on the boat when they sailed off. Because the picture could very well have been from the first time they tried to get on deep waters. Because you wouldn't do that in the reverse. Now, we're not saying they did anything. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. I'm just saying you can't rule it out. You can't do this interview and say, it's impossible. These people are only questioning us for ulterior motives. It's impossible. No, it's very possible. And these are things Tatum, who has been the sole interviewer so far, has refused to dive deep on. But let's get back to the timeline.
What I said,
you can get a meal fit for a family for only $20.
Wow. Timelines mean everything, y'all. You understand? We're going to get back to that. But before we do, I just want y'all to know that this part of the show is going to be sponsored by stickermail.com. Now, if you go to stickermill.com/Dabrand, not only will you be helping to support the show, you can get 10 free stickers on your boy. Now, let's get back to the bootlicker and his interview with the Goofies.
How did you recover the boat, and how did you get back to the mainland?
So I'm going to go ahead and first off explain a boat. So a bilge pump is in the bilge. The bilge is underneath the deck where you stand in the very bottom of the boat. And there's a space in there where you have all your electronics, your batteries, everything that controls everything throughout the whole boat. So the first thing that fills up on a boat when it starts to sink is the bilge. And it goes in the bilge and it starts filling up. Well, then the bilge pump kicks on, senses the water automatically, and starts pumping it out. In this situation, the bilge pump had a malfunction, it didn't kick on, and it got all the way to the very top of the bilge, which is the floor level. And then we started to see the boat actually sag down in the water, and we're like, okay, what's going on? So there's a cap in the back of the boat that you can unscrew and look inside the bilge. When we unscrewed it, there's so much water in the boat, it started overflowing onto the deck. And so at this point, we're like, okay, this boat's going down. It's going down quick. We don't know where the water's coming in from. We don't know what's going on, and we just go into full-on like panic mode, get this thing out of here now. So we hook up the boats.
No, call Cito.
Okay.
Let's get to that part. Because you called Cito first?
No,
or you had the boats hooked up first?
We had the boats hooked up first.
Yeah. Okay.
So we hook up the boats and we start towing them out. And he's on the phone with Cito. Because, hold on, let me go back a second. The electronics completely glitched out. Nothing is working on the boat. There's so much water in there, nothing is working.
The batteries are also...
The batteries are completely underwater. Like they're everything's fried basically. So we have it connected, kind of towing them out, and he's on the phone with Cito.
How much sense does it make that you guys would go all the way to Horns Island with a boat that has some type of issue like this? What's the chances? And then you got like, what did he say, eight people on a boat that's, you got to know this boat is having those type of problems, right? Before you go out there. You don't know this boat has these type of problems where you could just be sitting there and all of a sudden it's filling up with water? Knock it off, man.
So, and he's trying to get them on the phone. And as he stated in the moment, he's like, Cito's just asking all these dumb questions. I can't figure out what's going on. And so finally hangs up. And after the trim to the motor started to work again. So they manually trim it down by the buttons on the motor, trimmed it down, and some electronics started to come back on, and they got the boat to crank over, and they're like, all right, untie us, because if you can get a boat on plane, the suction of the water going underneath it will actually pull all the water out of the bilge if you have the plug out. So like, say you have the plug out and it's sitting, the boat will sink. If you have the plug out and you're running, all the water will rush out the back of the boat.
When you say on plane, you mean like it has to be going fast enough to be up on top of the water?
Yep.
Or
so
like
on
that?
plane is you're up, you're running, you're out of the water basically. There's
your bows on plane.
Yeah, so you're up out of the water running.
Yep. So where are you guys at when this happens? As far as from Horn Island to the mainland, where are you guys at in between there?
So we're probably a mile and a half off of Horn, I'd say, a mile off Horn.
From the start where the Cito call was, we were probably about a quarter mile off the island. Like you could see, it's visible in the picture that you posted that Wyatt is on the Cito call, and it's that video of the boat panning, of the video of the boat getting panned, and you can see everybody in the boat. If you look in the background, the island's right there. So I mean, going back to like what you said earlier, if we killed somebody or hurt somebody, the whole island is literally not even a quarter of a mile away to sea, with hundreds of boats lined up on the island. So that's really all I had to say about that.
Yeah. So we
were about a quarter mile out.
So we were about a quarter mile out, whatever. So they pull the plug out the back of the boat. They have the motor running and everything like that, and they go to take off. So the boat's having trouble trying to get up, and it's slowly coming up because the weight of the water. Finally, it planes off, and the water gets sucked out the back, and they're full speed running. And then after that, I didn't see them anymore. I think you were on the boat. You start from there.
Yeah, so after we planed off, Wyatt kept the boat pinned the whole way in. We ran into the mouth of Fort Bayou, where we came from originally, and we turned into Fort Bayou, went in the channel, ran probably 500, 600 yards into Fort Bayou. Wyatt had jumped out of the boat, put the plug back in the boat so access water. So water didn't keep pushing and filling the boat up. So then we turned around, and Wyatt brought the boat to the dock, and that's when I had gotten out and got back in the car. And I didn't drive. A buddy of mine drove me, and we went back to Jax's house.
Jax's house. Okay, so I just want to make this very clear and abundantly clear for the audience. Are you saying that the video that I posted, which was like a 3-second loop, now I have a lot more of the video, but to not expose people that have nothing to do with this, I only posted the smaller part, the 3-second part. Are you saying
he said he only posted the 3-second part because he didn't want to expose nobody else that had nothing to do with this? Where was you gonna expose somebody else that had nothing to do with it, my man? If you just panning a fucking boat, bruh. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? It made no sense. Who else gonna you involve? Some of the people that's a quarter mile over there on the beach? My nigga, you in the middle of the ocean, man. They could have panned the whole fucking thing all the way around. And who was the person taking that video in the first place? Because they obviously don't know how to shoot a video. Huh? You claim we could see what was on the boat. No, we couldn't. No, we couldn't. Not the way he did it.
During that time, a portion of that, Wyatt was on the phone with Cito, so a portion of that is the Cito call, and that Nolan is not on that boat.
Correct.
And that video that's out there is a representation of who was on the boat during that Cito call.
Correct.
So,
yo, I guarantee you, right? Yo, look, check this out, y'all. I could have 2 cameras pointed at me, right? One close, one way over there. Clearly, I'm going to use the sound from this video right here because it's closer. That one over there is probably mostly just B-reels, right? But later on down the road in the edit, I'm going to put those together, right? And I could basically jump from here to there to there to there, and it sound like what's going on, because the video is shot at the same time. Basically, you can add this sound to that video, and it'll sync, right? Now, if we was to take the Cito tape and try to sync it with this video footage of them on this boat, it's not gonna match. Clearly, you can see him doing certain things on the, you can hear him doing certain things on the Cito call that they're clearly not doing on the picture of the video of the boat that they was panning. Meaning, you supposed to show the whole conversation of that Cito call, not just 3 seconds of it, right? Show the whole tape, man. So why is somebody just videotaping 3 seconds of the Cito call? You supposed to videotape the whole call all the way up to they put you over with the captain. You know what I mean? Come on.
I want to jump back to something real quick because I was on the island and the reception was bad. I left my phone on the boat when I got out and went in the water.
So how you?
But people are saying online.
How you know reception was bad if you left your phone on the boat? You ain't even get off and test the signal, bruh. See what I'm saying? Woman clearly say he called his moms from the island. You don't even take your phone off the island, off the boat to see if they got reception. You's a goofy, man.
How can you make a Cito call if the reception is so bad on the island? Because before you said the reception wasn't really good enough to even send a picture message to somebody else. So
we talking about a picture versus a phone call, bruh. There's really no comparison, man. Huh? I could be sitting right here in this booth, man, trying to upload something. It be giving you a hard time. And the Wi-Fi box sitting right there. But if I pick it up to make a phone call, it's definitely going to go through. This dude, man, he's just...
How is this call being made if the reception is not as good?
I mean, if you listen to the call back, listen to the call back. I mean, there's areas in the call where it's splotchy. It's not direct.
Oh, but now we can listen to the call to verify something y'all said. Now we can listen to the call to verify some nonsense that y'all said. It ain't seem spicy to me, buddy. Not even a little bit. Only splices we heard when you kept putting the phone on mute so we couldn't hear what was going on the boat. Those are the only splices we heard.
Like, it's not like you're sitting from me to you talking to the person on the phone. I mean, you're obviously out on the water. I mean, you can hear it in the CTO call.
And so when it comes to the reception, because I didn't look at my phone one time on the way out to Horn Island. I mean, it was a beautiful ride.
Of course, because you're not thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking. I'm looking at how beautiful this water is. We were having fun on the boat.
That shows you how stupid you are, Tatum. Bootlicker. Because you went out there supposed to be investigating, man. One of the things you should be investigating is whether or not, when exactly does the signal on your phone go out completely, right? So one of the things you should have been paying attention to, brother, was your phone. So for you to sit here and try to convince us like, yeah, the whole time I didn't pay attention to my phone. So you went all the way out there and didn't take no pictures or nothing, right, Tatum? You was a goofy, man.
We were playing music, some of Nolan's favorite songs.
Yeah.
So I wasn't thinking about my phone. So I wasn't checking reception. Now, is the reception recover at some point between Horn and the mainland? Or is it terrible reception while you're over the water until you get to the mainland?
I mean,
there's
as soon as you get off the island coming in shore,
yeah,
you
but there's
start
really
picking
like
up reception
no
again.
definite way to tell where the reception comes in because I mean it's all satellite. I mean,
yeah,
it's different I've gotten service 80 miles.
Satellite. That's like saying COVID-19, nigga. That's like saying COVID-19. Yeah, do y'all remember the partitions? Huh? Everywhere you went, they had that dumbass plastic shit in front of you and them, but I guess COVID couldn't just go around the side of some shit, right? Here the dummy, it's all satellite. So what the nigga, if you talk, my man, if you talking about a satellite, whoa.
Miles offshore, like off of a satellite coming to a oil rig.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I connected to it from the rig. But like,
it just depends.
I could go to Horn Island and not have any service. I could go there and have service. I mean, I think it's truly different, like every time.
So is it fair to say the service on Horn Island is super spotty?
Yes. Yeah.
And it was just almost by chance, in part, that the call was successful to call CTO. Okay.
Yeah. Partly, yeah.
And I want to get to that picture because I think a lot of people are confused about the picture. You guys cleared this up for me last time I came, but I want the world to kind of hear this because I don't think I addressed it last time me and you, Warren, was on the interview. People are saying, and this is how the picture went viral, that the people pictured in the photo were the ones that went on the boat with Nolan and came back. Can you explain that? Because I don't think everybody that was in that picture even went to Horn Island on the same boat as Nolan.
So I can say whenever we all got out there.
Hold on, before you get there, because I think this will address another issue that people have of saying, well, why are they taking pictures if the reception is bad? Can you point out where this picture took place?
Yo, when we said that at first, right? We were saying, why would Nolan not be taking pictures? You, Goofy, was like, oh, there was no way to upload a picture. But now you trying to flip it to say what? Like, at first you said the reason why Nolan ain't had no pictures on his phone because there's no reception to take pictures. But we trying to tell you don't need reception to take pictures and videos. They could sit on your phone until you get to the mainland, then you upload them, right? That's what we were saying. Now you sitting here trying to say, what are you trying to say?
What is going on with this infamous picture now?
Yep. So whenever we got there, like I said, I wasn't even on the same boat as Nolan. We pull our boat in. Nolan, their boat pulls in or whatever. I get out in the water. I walk over to Nolan's boat, and I'm talking to Nolan for a little bit, whatever. And I put my phone up on the dash. Nolan puts his up there. As Nolan's putting his phone on the dash, he sees an actual little camera that one of the girls that came on the boat brought. And his first words was, he picks up the camera and he goes, "We gotta take a picture." Just like that. And in my mind, I'm like, heck yeah, like let's take this picture. So that's where you got me and Nolan and one picture. And then as we're taking that picture, Morgan and another buddy of ours come up and they're like, all right, like let's take a picture all together of us.
So he suggested, I mean, clearly he had his phone at the time, but he suggested we got to take a picture with somebody else's phone or somebody else's camera. And look how he crossed his arms right after he told that lie. Huh? Just because I see somebody else's camera, that don't mean I want to take a picture with somebody else's camera. Like, what? I got my own phone to take my own pictures. That don't make no sense what you just said, homie.
It's on the front of the boat. We're like, all right, yeah, let's do that. So we got on the front of the boat, and that's where that picture is taken.
So that was it taken from a phone or
no, like an actual little camera.
Okay. Like and was it taken from where you docked at, or was it taken out there at Horn Island?
It was taken at Horn Island.
Okay. So, but wasn't on the phone.
No.
Hey, I want to clear this up too, because I'm not aware of this. You guys may have obviously
But it could have been on the phone, right? Because y'all making it seem like you can't take pictures when you're on Horn Island on your phone, and that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Stupidest. You don't even have to have internet service on your phone and you can take pictures and videos, bruh.
Were people uploading, I know we talked about the service issue, but were people uploading onto social media?
I mean, you could.
Not really, though.
You could be.
Realistically, you could.
You could. If you want to sit,
could.
if you're motivated enough to do it, yeah. Like, I made a phone call to my mom, and I had to call her like 8 times before she picked up because either her service was bad, she was on the back side of the aisle on the south side, or my service was bad, and it was just hard to get through. But like, if I went and posted a video on Snapchat,
Did
like
he
honestly,
just say his mom's was on the island? Hold on. He was on the what?
Actually have more information. Were people uploading, I know we talked about the service issue, but were people uploading onto social media?
I mean, you could.
Not really, though.
You could be.
Realistically, you could.
You could. If you want to sit,
could.
if you're motivated enough to do it, yeah. Like, I made a phone call to my mom, and I had to call her like 8 times before she picked up because either her service was bad, she was on the back side of the aisle on the south side, or my service was bad, and it was just hard to get through. But like, if I went and posted a video.
Did this man just say his mom's was on the south side of the island? He clearly just said his mom's is on the south side of the island. And he called her 8 times and couldn't get through. What?
I called her like 8 times before she picked up because either her service was bad, she was on the back side of the aisle on the south side, or my service was bad, and it was just hard to get through. But like, if I went and posted a video on Snapchat, like honestly, I don't think it would like either post or send to somebody. I think, I sent my buddy where we were at, a buddy of mine. I was like, hey, come meet us. And I sent him a video, and he was like, dude, I couldn't get a hold of you all day. And like, that explains the point. Like, I sent him a video where we were at, and it never sent until I got inshore because I had no service.
Would it shock you, because Christine Wells, Nolan's mother, is online, she was very shocked that she said Nolan didn't have any Snapchats or something. I'm assuming that whole day. Is that shocking to you if he did or did not have photos or videos or stuff uploaded to social?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Because
I mean,
like we said, we've been out there many times before, and nobody's on their phone out there. First off, and then second off.
First of all, stop lying, Goofy, because we seen people out there on their phones. On the Nancy Grace show. Dude was standing there, right after I said there was nobody on the phone, dude was standing there having a long-ass conversation on his phone in the middle of the island. So you goofies is a bunch of liars.
1 feet of water, etc. I'm going to skip over.
back
Now, the
into
last
this,
data point for the GPS was at about 8 o'clock that night. So then they go over to a female friend's house.
Hold on, let's get back to this, man, because they bugging.
And they claimed that they were leaving and he was jumping into action because it was sinking. He says this.
Maybe disabled to where you couldn't get it out. Correct Horn Island. So what happens after that? Wyatt jumps the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and you're looking, trying to pull trash out the bilge, and the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the water, the access water out of the boat. So the bilge was failing to work. So any access water just sitting in the boat wasn't getting pumped out. So I looked over the gunnel and I looked at the release hole for the bilge, and it was eating with the water. So I mean, we're all freaking out. All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well then, eventually, my buddy Bart on the timeline is like, I'm gonna pull you all out.
So even though they were still on the island, he jumps out and throws out an anchor? Why did they pull the anchor up to begin with if they were sinking? If they were sinking, why was Bart offering to tow them out? Why would they risk being that close to the island and that close to ground to sink out further? Because again, look at how shallow of water these boats are in.
The reason why that's important is because if they tried to haul butt up out of there first and they went a little deeper and then came back once they realized, we're sinking, that matters because TMZ, Tatum, and all these people have been saying, look, there's this photo of them, they're on the water, they're sailing away, Nolan, there's nowhere in sight. That could have been around 3 p.m. when they were trying to haul butt up out of there without Nolan, and then realized, we can't go nowhere, like we're sinking, and they came back to shallow waters. Because it wouldn't make sense to start off on shallow waters, realize you're already sinking, which, again, how can you sink on shallow waters? That makes no sense as well. But to realize, we're on, like, shallow waters, we're near land, right? Like, the boat is docked near land on shallow waters. We realize we're already, like, sinking, but we're gonna
haul ass to deep water?
Sail to deeper waters where we have where there's a chance of us to, like, fully get engulfed by the water. That wouldn't make sense, right? And how they describe it, where, like, the water was, like, overflowing the boat, that wouldn't happen where they were docked. Like that was, like, literally, like, shallow waters. Like, bro, you could see, like, bro, like, their feet, like, the water don't go past, like, damn near, like, their ankles or something. So that photo could be undermined if they were trying to haul butt up out of there at 3 without Nolan, came back once they realized they can't, and then spent another hour and 30 minutes trying to fix this boat problem. And the only reason why that's important is because the narrative has now been, y'all seen the picture. There's no chance, impossible, that all these theories y'all are putting out there is true. But when you look at things like this, you can't rule out the possibility the boat may have came back within an hour and 30 minutes. Nolan may have been killed. Or Nolan may have been on the boat when they sailed off. Because the picture could very well have been from the first time they tried to get on deep waters. Because you wouldn't do that in the reverse. Now, we're not saying they did anything. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. I'm just saying you can't rule it out. You can't do this interview and say, it's impossible. These people are only questioning us for ulterior motives. It's impossible. No, it's very possible. And these are things Tatum, who has been the sole interviewer so far, has refused to dive deep on. But let's get back to the timeline.
What I suspect is that everybody just hauled ass and left, but because the trim was not going down, it overheated, it stalled out, then the crashing waves were freaking everybody out. But even Warren couldn't keep his story straight or his timeline straight because then listen.
All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well then, eventually, my buddy Bart on the timeline is like, I'm gonna pull you all out to where we're all this, all this chaos. We left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more, than when we got there. I mean, probably around the same amount. It was crazy. Like, there's a lot of people enough. I mean, eventually, Bart pulls us out. We left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out.
So he says it right there, that Bart pulls them out, they leave at 4:30, And you may be thinking, well, he pulled them after, he towed them after, but...
Out. You know, we left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out, and we had the towing strap pulled from, Bart's port side cleat, or starboard side cleat, and he was on our starboard side bow. And so he was rubbing on his power pole. So Bart turned around, pulled up next to our boat, and we were just trying to get situated.
Well, that's when Y called Cito.
We know that phone call was around 4 p.m. to the private towing company. Now, in my last video, I went into detail with the Bart, the fight, all of that stuff, the discrepancies between like the neck of water and then suddenly being in 31 feet of water, etc. I'm going to skip over that. Now, the last data point for the GPS was at about 8 o'clock that night. So then they go over to a female friend's house to go to the pool. And yet, instead of joining his friends in the pool, this is what Warren did.
At a lady friend's house.
Right, I never got to the pool. I talked to her dad for a while, and all my friends were downstairs. I went upstairs, talked to her dad. We were talking about boats and stuff, and I've been with my friends all day. I was just talking to everybody, but
So you talked to the young lady's dad, and then
That's pretty weird. Y'all all go back to the house party, but you go upstairs to talk to the girl of the house's father for a couple of hours about boats. Okay.
How long was it before you realized, or you guys realized that, where's Nolan at?
All right, well, now I got to stop your ass, because what 18-year-old goes to a friend's house to party, all the friends go downstairs to the pool area, and he goes upstairs to talk to her father about boats? Mind you, these children had been drinking all day long. And he and his buddies don't go home until 3 a.m., mind you. Now, I know it's been a while since I've been 18, but that's a long day in the hot, in the sun, drinking. Sounds to me like you were talking to this dad to help with the story.
It's important to really go back and remind people of these really tiny details, because these tiny details like this have kind of like disappeared, right? As time progresses, as the story kind of progresses, these tiny, minute details that are like very crucial has kind of disappeared. But the reason why that particular detail is important is because that's the timeline in which they figured out, wait, Nolan might be missing. So they get to this crib. He goes upstairs after drinking all day while partying to go talk to the only adult at the time around. Why you go upstairs to talk to the only adult? He says he was trying to talk about boats. Okay, cool, okay. Is it possible that he might have went upstairs to ask about advice for a tricky situation they might have been in? Possible. But when he comes back down after talking to the only adult around, he comes back downstairs and he walks into a conversation where they're just conveniently talking about Nolan Wells. They're just talking about their good old buddy Nolan. Now, I'll be real with y'all, bro. There's just too many coincidences lining up here.
And remember Tristan, the guy that was on the island that got into a fight, and his uncle said, "Get your ass on the boat, we out of here." Guess what he did when he got back to the island, to the mainlands? He went straight to bed and didn't wake up till 11 o'clock.
There are a couple coincidences you got to start asking what's a coincidence and what's not. Because what's not natural about this is, if I leave, let's say, my friend at a party, right? Let's just say I leave my friend at a party, right, at 4 p.m., right? And then I go about my day. I'm probably not thinking where my homie is, right? Right? Like, again, I'm just being real with y'all, bro. If I leave my homie at a party at 5 p.m. because my homie is talking to a girl, I'll probably
at that point, I'm waiting for him to show up. I ain't worried about, last time I saw that dude, he was with Katie. You know what I mean? So, he with Katie, as far as I'm concerned. He good, man. He with Katie. And you supposed to stick by that. He veered off of that and decided, listen, I think we need to call the Coast Guard. What? Huh? That's a big leap, bruh. From you seeing him chilling with Katie to thinking he need help with the Coast Guard. When they asked y'all that earlier, because this is the second time the Coast Guard came up, right? The first time it came up was when y'all called the Cito, which was 4 something in the afternoon. You call Cito and they ask you, do you guys need the Coast Guard? No, we don't need no Coast Guard. But now 11 o'clock something at night, all of a sudden now you want to call the Coast Guard? Because you didn't call them immediately.
Hit the homie up like the next morning, like, hey, bro, you feel me? Like, what's up? You know, like, what you on today? I'm not leaving and like at 8 p.m. Yo, bro, what's the homie at? That's not the natural progression of partying, especially if we all drinking and partying still. I'm probably not worried about where the homie is. But to go upstairs and talk to the only adult around for a quote-unquote board of...
And then come down and be like, you already know where Nolan's at. Because you clearly said you left him on the island with the girl, right? Then all of a sudden, everybody, yo, did you see Nolan? Where's Nolan? You know where Nolan's at? Huh? You know where Nolan's at. You know exactly where Nolan's at.
We think it was for advice for a tricky situation, but that's just my opinion. Come downstairs and then conveniently walk into a conversation about Nolan, and then your mind automatically goes to the worst.
And Nolan was the only one that wasn't in a fist fight or altercation. He was just chilling with Katie, getting drunk, which clearly everybody else was doing, getting drunk. So why is the conversation about Nolan getting drunk? Huh?
Where's Nolan? He's missing. Call Coast Guard. Come on, sir.
And you go downstairs and your friends just so happen to be talking about Nolan, and then you're like, oh my God, I should call the Coast Guard.
But I went back downstairs and all my friends were just hanging out, and my buddy Wyatt had addressed, talk about Nolan. And I was like, well, where is Nolan?
But he the one who was just now telling Nolan to get on the boat, and Nolan said, I'm staying. So he know clearly where Nolan is at. My dude, like, why would he even ask you anything about Nolan? Anything. He the one who was supposed to have been yelling, Nolan, get your ass on the boat. Nolan told him straight to his face, man, I'm staying here with Katie, man. I'm chilling. So why would he ask you where's Nolan at, bruh?
Heard from him.
It just seems pretty convenient that after his powwow upstairs with the father of his friend, he comes downstairs and then all of a sudden they start talking, have you seen Nolan? No, I haven't seen Nolan. Have you seen Nolan? Maybe we should call this person. We should call his mom. Almost seems like they actually go back downstairs after talking about what they should do about the situation with the dad, or whatever it is they were really doing at that time, came downstairs and started talking about Nolan publicly so that everybody at the party could be organic witnesses to when the conversation happened. Because he kept contradicting himself. He kept saying, I wasn't too worried about it, but then also we know that they can kill people. But also, maybe I would just call the Coast Guard, just to make sure it's okay. I'm so mad I didn't save it, but in one of these interviews, they said that Katie was supposed to come to the party with them later, which is why Nolan said he was going to hang back with her. Then why would they dry snitch to their friend's mom before getting in contact with Katie? So as I was making this video, I caught something so big it changes everything. Throughout this entire interview, Warren insisted that Bart's boat was a tide line. He was so sure of it, said it over and over and over again, claimed that there were 20 to 30 people on that boat. By the way he talks about boats and the equipment and stuff, it seems like he has some general knowledge of it and knows a lot about boats. So maybe y'all can tell me why, in this report, when they gathered the GPS evidence, does it say that Bart was driving a tide craft, not a tide line? They're entirely different designs, purposes, manufacturing styles. Mind you, this is what tide crafts look like. They ain't fitting 20 people on them. This is more what tide line boats look like, y'all. So did Bart bring 2 boats with him? As Warren said, Bart's dad was originally supposed to go with them. Tide line boats don't fit 20 people either. So was there a 4th boat out there?
The reason why the idea of a 4th boat is...
listen. How many times I keep telling y'all the 4th boat was Tristan's boat, man? Like, those are the 4 boats. Those are the 4 boats. Y'all can't count? They came with 3. Tristan, his buddy, left with the first one. That's 4 boats, man.
Really important is because when they say, hey, we got on a boat at 3 and we ultimately left at 4:30, and here is our complete GPS data so you could track us. That right there, the GPS data, has been the only verifiable evidence of their movements. So when they say, this is when we left, this is when we hopped on, this is where we went, the GPS data has been the only empirical evidence we have to say, okay, yeah, we take their word for it. This is when they left, this is when they came, this is everything. But if there's been a fourth boat that has not been tracked, if there's been a fourth boat that has GPS data that we don't have, then that brings up the possibility there may have...
We talking about that first boat that peeled off at 3 o'clock, which was the last time old Warren right here claims that he saw Nolan, right? 3 o'clock is the last time I saw Nolan. Everybody, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. They took off at 3 o'clock because his uncle told him, get your ass on the boat, man, we out of here. That's the fourth boat. That's where the altercation took place. Huh? And ain't that what Warren ran over there because his brother was having problems with the same guy? Right?
Been more traveling to more places and more activities that we don't know about. That's why that fourth boat is important. And guess what? Jay Megan uncovered more evidence that may have been a fourth boat. And again, it's really important because the GPS data from the boat they are talking about is the only way they've been able to say, here's our movements, here's where we went, here is how you track us in our activities.
Where them other boats at?
If there was a fourth boat that's being hidden, that's not being discussed, that's not being tracked, then there have been activities, there's been movements that we don't know about. And we must have all the information. And if information is being hidden purposefully, that's a reason for us to pause. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. I'm just saying there are possibilities. There are things we're not being told.
Not only have I found more evidence of a fourth boat, not only have I found a lie in their timeline, but I have also discovered a deep political connection, not only to a former governor of Mississippi, but to Turning Point USA. So first off, this picture has surfaced in which it's clearly the group of boats a little bit further out in the water altogether. Now here's what is supposedly Bart's boat. We can see the Garmin on top. We can confirm this black boat from this other picture. We can see Wyatt's Triton right here, and we can confirm that by the motor. As you can see right here, has that black stripe on the white motor. Now in between the two boats is the Palm Beach. You can clearly see it labeled, and it's got that stripe, right? As you can see, the stripe is there. And yet there's this design right here and no Palm Beach. And you may be like, Jay, that doesn't prove that it's a different boat. Maybe we just can't see it, even though it should be right there according to this picture. But if you look in this video, you can see that there is a black propeller right there. See black propeller, and you can very clearly see the Palm Beach right there on the side. But if you look really carefully in this photo, you can see right there a black propeller. There's another boat on the other side of these three boats. And given the lack of the name on the boat and the black propeller, I'm going to assume the Palm Beach is on the other side, which means there's 4 boats right here. Then I rewatched Warren's interview.
And I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. No one was not with me. And I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck. And, well, first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's and came back. And the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went, and with my buddies, we went, filled the top of the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from Fort Bayou Boat Launch to my buddy's grandparents' house, and that's where we all planned to meet up that day.
So Wyatt had his buddy's boat already hooked up to the back of his truck. He said he and Wyatt and his other buddy went and got ice and filled up the boats. And Wyatt went and put the Palm Beach, his smaller boat, into the water. And we know that there was a second boat, the Triton, that was driven by Wyatt. Wyatt had 2 boats in the water. Who was driving his other boat?
We don't know the patterns of that particular boat. We don't know the GPS data. We don't know where it went. We don't know who was driving it. But we're trying to figure out who was driving Wyatt's other boat. Let's go to the Cito call. Now, this is completely speculatory. This is just my opinion, speculatory, okay? When Wyatt was on the phone with Cito, somebody else was also on the phone with Cito at the same time. That person's phone call has not been released yet. There's been no transcripts for it. Nobody have heard the phone call, but it was Wyatt's grandfather. Wyatt's grandfather was the one who told Cito, oh yeah, y'all shouldn't come anymore. Don't call Coast Guard. no, don't call Coast Guard. Now, if Wyatt's grandfather was on the island, if he drove the boat to the island, if Wyatt's grandfather, which I've seen this theory before where others have also pointed out Wyatt's grandfather may have been on the island, I don't know. But if Wyatt's grandfather was on the island, why have we heard very little about Wyatt's grandfather? If there's a mystery of who the other driver was of the boat, of Wyatt's boat, why was the grandfather on the phone at the same time that Wyatt was, telling them not to bring Cito and not to bring the Coast Guard? Why was the grandfather even involved in this at all? Right? That don't make sense. But here's the Cito call confirming that Wyatt's grandfather was on the call at the same time that Wyatt was, telling them not to come.
For your support. So the official sworn MDMR Marine Patrol report was filed as a non-criminal missing person report. Now this was filed via telephone at 10:05 a.m. on July 5th, 2026. Two individuals are listed as involved entities: 21-year-old Bart Joseph Edmonston Jr. and Jerry Ralph Atkerson, which happens to be Wyatt's grandfather, i.e. the owner of the boat.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And he said that Jerry. Yeah, he said, okay. I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now.
That call has not been released yet. We don't know what the grandfather told these people, but all the questions to our answers is in that call. The grandfather would say, hey, I'm on the island, or hey, I'm at home. I just heard what happened. But why would the grandfather who's not there, who's at home, who's hearing about his grandson's boat is sinking, tell them, hey, don't go out there. We don't need you. That's information that you would probably know, or you would have more of a grasp on the situation if you were there and present. Because Wyatt was on the phone with them. So Wyatt wasn't on the phone with his grandfather and Cito at the same time. So if Wyatt is telling Cito, hey, we need help, we need somebody to come out here, the grandfather is on the phone call at the same time saying, no, we don't need y'all to come out there. That would mean the grandfather would have been somewhere observing something. Because Wyatt can't tell the grandfather he's okay while telling Cito he's not okay at the same time. But if we get that call, which I'm going to request it, if we get that call, we'll know if the grandfather tells them, hey, I'm on the island, or hey, I'm at home. We will know the answer to that question. But them doing interviews and saying, well, this case is already sealed up, is already definitive, it's impossible with all the evidence that have came out that we did anything, we don't know. Questions still need to be answered. Okay? I honestly don't know. This is not me dog whistling guilt. This is me saying I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot that still needs to be answered. This case is far from closed and sealed.
Nolan was on Wyatt Pyron's 22 Triton.
Pause, y'all, because we need to really go back over that first interview that Warren did with the Bootlicker Show, because I swear I clearly heard him say his moms was on that island, man. He said he tried to call his moms at least 8 times, but she was on one side of the island and he was on the other. All right? Did we not hear him say some silly shit like that? We back and forth with it. So let's get back to the Bootlicker right now, man.
If you want to take Snapchats and stuff like that, you can, but you're just really going to have to save them to your camera roll and upload them back whenever you get insured, because when you go to send it, it's just going to have an error.
And most guys, when they're out on the island all day, they're really not thinking about posting something on their Snapchat story.
So the phone was taken on like a camera that's not a phone. Yeah. Now, how did that get to you guys, and how did that ended up getting to the internet?
So whenever we first realized that Nolan didn't, I'm not gonna say he didn't. When we first realized we don't know where Nolan's at, the first thing we were trying to figure out, or his mom was, what was he wearing? And so we were trying to remember what color his shorts were. We couldn't quite figure that out.
I said black.
Yeah, I think we said black.
I really did. He was wearing navy blue shorts?
Yeah, it was like dark blue shorts.
Dark. I just said black because I was trying to piece everything together and help out.
And so at this point, we're freaking out. We don't know where our friend's at. And the girl that took the picture, she was like, okay, well, I just took this picture of today. This is what color swim trunks he was wearing. And his mom asked for that to post on Facebook to say, if you've seen him, whatever, this is what he was wearing. And so that's what we sent to her. or that's what she sent her, because we were just trying to help. You know, we weren't trying to cover up anything. We want to know where our friend was just as bad as everybody else does. I mean, that was our boy. We want to know worse than everybody else does. And so that's how that picture came about.
And
so you think y'all will be running all around the Katie house, Katie friend's house, because y'all clearly said he was with Katie, right? So Katie, man, last time your son was with you, Katie. Katie, where you at, Katie? Katie, tell her son, Katie. Katie, we gonna send the police over here, Katie. None of that, though, right? All right.
I want to get to the phone situation of Miss Christine or Miss Wells said online, and I've seen it on the news and everything, as if she had to come and hunt you down to get this phone. Now I know, Warren, you weren't at the house, and so you weren't there when they came to get the phone and all
Right.
that. So how did this happen? Because last time we talked, you said you told, and I will call her Miss Christine, you told Christine.
Where were you at when they came and got the phone, Warren? Where were you? We want to know exactly where you was at when she came and got the phone, man. Huh? Where you at?
That you had Nolan's phone. Like, can you explain that to me? Because I'm confused. I don't know what's what. Did you tell her you had the phone? And when did you tell her you had the phone if you did?
Okay, so first we'll start off with, you know, what I have to say, and then Jax, but and if Morgan has something to say, but I want to get this straight. One of the first things I told Miss Christine Wells in the first phone call that ever occurred with anything to do with Nolan Wells being gone, because I was the first person to call Miss Christine about anything. First phone call in anything to do with Nolan Wells was me making a phone call to Christine Wells. And one of the first things I said to her, with multiple witnesses here, pull up the phone call if you want. She said, oh, well, Nolan's location is with y'all at, you know, where the house we were at. And I was like, well, no, he left his phone with us. I told her this. She knew for a fact that we had his phone. And she knew that I told her, yeah, he left it on the boat with us.
I swear I wish y'all could pull that call up, because he just called her bluff. He said, pull the call up. Can we get that phone call, y'all? Get that phone call, because we need to hear you telling Nolan Wells' moms that you had his phone, bro, because we don't believe you, man. We just don't believe you, man.
Like, you know, a bunch of people did. And so I want to make that very clear that I told Miss Christine there was no reason to hide anything. There was no issue regarding the cell phone. She could have came and picked it up, but instead she sent one of her friends to come pick it up, and that's where these things start to get twisted. But no, there was never an issue with the phone. I told Miss Christine, one of the first things I told her was, you know, we have Nolan's phone, and, you know, that's where that ends. There was no issues with the phone or the keys, so I wanted to make that clear.
So was the keys on the boat with the phone?
No. The
Okay.
keys were
They're at my house.
at Jax's house, because we all stayed there the night before. I'm sure if I would have left my truck at Jax's house, I would have left my keys there too, because I don't
It's
have
just
my,
one more thing to
if I
think
don't-
about on the
yeah,
boat.
if I don't have my car or my truck, then why would I bring my keys on the boat, you know? So, I mean, there's just no point of bringing it, because if I lose them, then there's more stuff to...
How the hell he get to the boat? Because y'all left him there, man. You clearly just told us you left, you and Wyatt and Jax left Nolan and went to the McDonald's, to your house, to hook the boat up, to fill it up with ice. And you clarified that Nolan wasn't with us at this time. So, I don't know, man.
Bring that on.
Yeah.
Very exact.
So I want you guys to explain this phone thing. I think Warren already addressed the fact that he told Christine that he had the phone in his possession. So, you know, the whole Life 360 thing is not adding up as far as what you're saying to me compared to what they're saying. Now, how did whoever came and get the phone, how did they get in touch with you guys, and how did they get the phone back?
So I got a call from a kid we went to high school with. He called me just asking me questions. He saw people posting on Snapchat, like the picture that was circulating. and he called and he was asking questions. He was like, "Where's Nolan? When's the last time y'all seen him?" And then he was like, "So where are y'all at?" And I told him, I said, "We're at Jax's house." And then Warren got on the phone, and I don't know.
So they come to my house, right? And they kind of
hold on before we get there. Was it confrontational or was it just
most
trying to
definitely.
find? It was confrontational
Yeah,
already.
wouldn't y'all agree?
Yeah,
He was 110%.
He was very
confrontational.
And when did this happen? Was this on the night of the 4th or the next day?
This was the night when This was before they came and got the phone.
So this is the night of the 4th, yes.
So you had already spoke to Christine.
Correct.
And then you get a call that was hostile.
Yeah, and then Morgan handed the phone over to me. I was like, "Oh, let me talk to him," because I knew the guy, and I was just like, "Hey, like," he was like, "Where y'all at? Where y'all at?" I was like, "We're at Jax's house." You know, it's like calm down. And then he hung up on me, and then.
Okay, so they pull up to my house, and at this point, I'm kind of freaking out. We're all trying to put our heads together on where Nolan is. And I kind of like isolate myself in my room, just kind of getting a ball and just.
Why? When y'all all knew that Nolan was with Katie. This is a simple fix. Yo, Dad, we left him with Katie, man. That's it. What the problem is? Y'all made it seem like it was a situation. It wasn't no situation. He was with Katie, right? Why you in your room balling? Huh? Why you was in your room balling? Why was you in your room balling, my man? Huh? Clearly, all you had to do was tell him you left Nolan with Katie. But you locked yourself in your room and started balling. That's a little crazy to me, man. But okay. Nobody else find that a little suspicious? Why are you hiding in your room? Huh? We'll get back to that.
Y'all to come out there, they'll
think about the question we asked him. Why was you hiding in your room? When his pop showed up for the car keys, you hiding in your room.
The grandfather would have been somewhere observing something. Because Wyatt can't tell the grandfather he's okay while telling Cito he's not okay at the same time. But if we get that call, which I'm going to request it, if we get that call, we'll know if the grandfather tell him, hey, I'm on the island, or hey, I'm at home. We will know the answer to that question. But them doing interviews and saying, well, this case is already sealed up, is already definitive, it's impossible with all the evidence that came out that we did anything, we don't know. Questions still need to be answered. Okay? I honestly don't know. This is not me dog whistling guilt. This is me saying I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot that still needs to be answered. This case is far from closed and sealed.
Nolan was on Wyatt Pyron's 22 Triton. On the way out, I went with my buddy Bart because we had a lot of friends from college coming down, and I called Bart that morning. I was like, hey, man, can you take your boat out? And he was like, yeah, well, my dad's decided not to go, and I'll take the boat and I'll take you and your friends. Of course, I mean, he's a buddy of mine. And so Bart pulled up at the dock, and I mean, I rode out there with Bart and a lot of the girls that go to college with my friends and I, and Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. There was like 8 people on the Triton, and then there was 8 or 9 people on the Triton, and then there was the rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people.
Now, wait a minute. So Warren already had a boat hooked up when he woke up that morning. I'm assuming that had to be the Triton that was hooked up, right? Then he said that Wyatt went and put his smaller boat, the Palm Beach, into the water. Then Warren said that he was the one who drove the Palm Beach to their friend's dock. Assuming that Wyatt drove the Triton to the dock and Bart drove his own boat to that dock, who drove the Palm Beach out to the water then? Because he said that he got a ride in with Bart, even though at one point during the interview he said all of his stuff was on the Palm Beach. So it sounds to me like Warren was the one driving the Palm Beach. I'm also like, what parent would let their kid, who's obviously going off to party, take 2 of their boats and let them like let their drunk friends drive? Like, it isn't making sense to me. I mean, maybe these parents are just shitty parents and irresponsible. Then he also said that he contacted Bart that morning to see if he could come, and Bart was like, yeah, I can give all your friends a ride, blah, blah, blah. According to him, there were 10-ish people, 15 people on that boat. So where were those people originally supposed to ride in on? They'd been planning it for weeks. They were excited about it. Why did Bart have to suddenly step in and take all these people? And remember, Bart said that his dad had canceled going out on the boat that day, so he could do it. Something's not adding up here. I think there was an adult somewhere in this mix. It would also explain how they all thought quickly on their feet with the sea tow. I wouldn't be surprised if an adult didn't come out there and just go off with other adults that were also on Horn Island and let the kids hang out with the boats. Here's where things are going to get interesting, folks. There are more GPS coordinates in the report than what we have seen publicly. I'm going to play you a clip from the interview.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Warren said earlier he called his moms 8 times. And he couldn't get through because she was on the north side. Just like the lady just said. They pulled up, the grown folks went off. Left the kids with the boats. Right? That's what he said. Let's go.
But remember, at 5:30 is when they started picking up regular speed, all right? It's right here, 5:25.
Here's where this boat situation gets even weirder. When Warren did his interview with Officer Tatum, Warren said, as you heard earlier in this video, but I will remind you, that the last time he seen Nolan was with Katie, right? He had Katie in his arms. They was having personal time. And because of that personal time with Katie, they had to leave Nolan because Nolan chose not to go with them. He wanted to stay with Katie. Even though Katie said the last time she seen Nolan was when they was calling Nolan over.
It's always on the boat. No one's getting off the boat with their phone. So
you guys get ready to leave out of there, getting towed out.
Yeah.
And then where's Nolan in this situation?
Well, Nolan was, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. And Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie. Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy. I was like just joking with him. And but anyway, Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him. But when we were leaving, obviously, no one is getting left at the island that came with us unless they demanded to, be there and asked, this is a very common thing at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. It's a very common thing, but Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues, and no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on.
If Nolan didn't get on the boat because he was with Katie, well, what if I tell you there may be evidence that Katie was on the boat? Would that change your mind on where Nolan was?
Make sure you go and watch it, but I'll give you a quick little rundown. Teal swimsuit, white backwards baseball cap. Teal swimsuit, white baseball cap. Red shorts, red shorts, red shorts. Bart's boat, girl in striped swimsuit, standing right next to a long-haired girl in a teal swimsuit. Teal swimsuit, striped swimsuit.
A girl in a teal swimsuit was Katie, by the way. That's evidence you see of Katie's on who boat? You do with that information as you may. If Nolan was with Katie and Katie was on the boat, then where was Nolan in that time? Y'all let me know in the comment section, okay? If you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this.
The Officer Tatum.
I heard that, right? Do the math. If Katie was on Bart's boat, right? And Nolan was hooked up with Katie. They sat on the boat. Do the math. Let's go. Let's finish up on this.
lose it kind of basically for a few hours. And they just walk into my house, you know. And I hear all this commotion going on in my living room, and I'm just like, what in the world is going on? So I walk out there. There's probably like 10, 15 people in my house I don't even know. And they're all up in our faces, going crazy, asking where Nolan is, and we don't know. And finally they get into Wyatt's face, and they're like, where's your boat? Where's the boat at?
Demanding his address.
Demanding his address and stuff like that. And he finally ends up giving it to him. And then let me go ahead and state though, while they're there, we give them the phone. They have the phone at this point. Then they get the address to his house. Then they go to his house. And they're searching all over his boat, what I heard and stuff like that. Well, anyways, I don't really know much about that, but they come back to my house at around 1 o'clock in the morning. And it's his dad this time. And his dad's being really respectable, really, really nice to me and stuff like that. And as long as another friend of theirs, and he's asking me like, where are the keys at? I don't even know where Nolan's keys are at in my house. You know how hard it is to find a set of keys in a house, and you don't even know where to start? It's pretty hard. So I start scrambling around my house looking. There's stuff everywhere. Keep in mind, all these people stayed the night at my house before. I'm looking through everything. I can't find the keys. I run back to his father, or stepfather, and I was like, I don't know where the keys are. And the guy standing next to him's texting somebody, I guess.
And what does it matter that they keep pointing out his stepfather? I'm a stepfather, but I don't go around saying that's my stepson. No, that's my son. But for some reason, they feel it necessary to clarify this up. You know, his dad or his stepdad. You don't know? You his best friend. And you don't know if that's his real dad or not. You goofies.
I was at my house, and he said that they're on the Xbox. So I run in, I see him on the Xbox, grab him off the Xbox, and I go and hand it to him. It's plain and simple. Didn't even take 30 seconds.
No trouble.
No trouble at all. So
this narrative that they're pushing, that there was any argument over the phone or the keys, is completely false. Like, let's get that clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they just kind of hang around my house, taking pictures of all the cars' license plate in the driveway, stuff like that. And so
When you say they, how many people are here this time?
Like 15.
15 people that you don't know?
They had 4 or 5 vehicles.
I mean, I knew some of
Full
them I
of
went to high
people.
school with, and then some of them I just didn't know.
Now, walk me through this. How do you think it got to this point so fast? That's one thing that I'm curious about. Like, you
jumping to conclusion.
I guess so. I mean,
that's
like,
plain and simple.
Like, they went and searched Wyatt's boat.
Yeah, they went and searched Wyatt's boat.
Like
we
we're
were
hiding
hiding
Nolan in his boat or something. Like, what is wrong with
Yeah.
him? Like,
yeah, 100%.
We called law enforcement. I was with Wyatt at the time. After we left Jackson's house that night, I was with Wyatt, and one person we were with saw that their location was actually headed towards Wyatt's house. And so Wyatt got on the phone with 911 and was like, hey, these people are on the way to my house, or already at my house. My mom and my dad are there alone, and they know nothing about this. But Wyatt's mom actually, when they were looking at the boat, they were actually walking from the boat, and she came out and started talking to them at that point.
But did the police get involved in some degree here?
Yes, that's what I'm about to get into. So whenever they were at my house hanging out, just, I guess, hanging out in my front yard, finally they wouldn't leave. And one of the people there came up and started banging on the door again for whatever reason, I don't know. My brother actually had to call the cops. And I think they came around 2 o'clock in the morning and removed them from our property. And after that, we really haven't spoken to them since. But yeah, we had to call the cops to make them leave.
The cops came, you told them to leave, and then is there anything else that you addressed with the cops while they were there?
Yeah, so the cops were asking me why these people are at my house in the first place, and I told them straight up, we don't know where our friend is at. I don't know where my best friend's at. These people don't know where their friend's at. We're trying to figure it out, and they're basically assuming that we did something to our friend, which we didn't. And he said, okay, just taking notes, and then remove them from there.
Do you think that this had anything to do with race at this point? Meaning that they approached you because of race, or they approached you because you were the last people with Nolan?
No. So at this point, they just want answers. I don't think this was about race at this point. They're mad and furious, and they don't know what's going on.
But I also want to get this straight. Like, I know some of these people, and these people are like good people.
Yeah.
And I went to high school with these guys. Like, they know me, and I know them, and they know my friends, and they know them. This wasn't about race. They just knew for a fact that Nolan went on the boat with us. And they were worked up, and that's okay. And they were mad, but that wasn't handling things. That wasn't trying to help. You getting mad isn't helping anything. But instead of...
But you goofies wasn't trying to do nothing. Y'all was sitting around all day. You was upstairs having a conversation with old girl's pops. Y'all wasn't doing anything. So what do you mean?
Instead of solving the problem and trying to figure out, hey, where is Nolan? They were just getting pissed off and not handling things the right way. And I mean, that's what happened.
You guys said you ended up going and looking for Nolan the next morning, but you said you were thinking about doing it that night.
Yes.
And why didn't you do it that night?
So we already called the Coast Guard at this point. We didn't have access to a boat that was already in the water ready to go, other than one that I'm just not allowed to use at all. And I was still this close to taking it out. I mean, I was right there.
So you guys go the next morning, you look for Nolan. Can you explain how did that happen? Who was looking for Nolan? Who was on the boat? Was it multiple boats? Was
Multiple
it one
boats.
boat? Okay, can you explain that? Who was, out of this group, who was on what boat, or who was on a boat or not, going out and looking for Nolan?
So me, Wyatt, and Trayson got in the boat. We got in the Palm Beach that morning, the morning after, and we rode out to the islands, and we were met by a DMR. There was 7 DMR boats already out there, DMR and park rangers. We talked to them, we gave them all of our information. They personally asked if any of us were on the boat with him that day. We told them yes. They just said, all right, well, I mean, we got the area scoped out. I mean, and then after that, we just went up to the beach. I think we met up with y'all in the water.
I took my boat out with Jax and
Yeah.
a couple friends of mine, and then my mom and my stepdad. And
they were out there too with you?
Correct. And I just met Morgan and Wyatt and Trayson and his girlfriend out there. And we actually, when I rolled up, I parked up next to Morgan and everybody who was with him, and I was like, well, y'all can run around, or we all planned this out, Morgan was going to run around the south side while we covered the north side, and we were just going to try to cover as much ground as possible. But I mean, there were so many DMR boats and helicopters and drones and everything else out there. I don't really know what an 18 and a 25-foot bay boat is really going to do. So I mean, we sat out there. We went for a couple hours and we looked around and we searched, but we also don't fit the requirement that DMR has, and the tools that DMR and United Cajun Navy and all these departments have to look for somebody. I mean, we didn't put that much of a help out, but yes, of course, we went out there and looked for our friend. That's not a question.
Who else in the friend group was out there? Did you see Nolan's family? Did you see some of the other kids that showed up at your house? You see anybody else out there?
We did see couple other. We met up with a coach that was previously Nolan's high school coach. We met up with him. They said that they had previously already been on the island. They walked a good bit down the island both ways, and they were just driving around the island like we were doing, and we eventually got off the island. We got on this rip current. It was going west out towards like Ship Island and then back towards Biloxi. And we drove that for a couple miles. People were also looking on that too. There was multiple boats out there not associated with DMR with binoculars. There was people fishing the rip, and we asked them, like, they rode it all the way from Ocean Springs all the way out to Horn Island, and we were like, did you see anything, blah, blah, blah. Because, I mean, if a person is floating in the water, treading water, they are going to be most likely in the rip. And that all comes into play with the washing machine. I mean, you got Horn
Explain
Island.
the washing machine for me.
Horn Island and Ship Island, I mean, they come like this, and then there's no island right here, so it just, tons of water flows through, the tide goes out. I mean, sometimes it gets pretty gnarly in there, and it creates this big old pool, basically. Yeah. And, I mean, if someone was floating, treading water out in the water, that's where they would be. They could be hung up, they could grab onto a log and float with a piece of driftwood or something, or they could find a channel marker or buoy and grab onto that. So, I mean, there was just main keys that you search for, like when you're trying to search for a missing person that has to do with water. And, I mean, it's either the island, the buoys, or the rip. And then after that, there's not really anything else you can do. Seriously.
And when did you guys communicate with law enforcement? Because the internet, I think, has this false information that you guys never contacted authorities, and that Warren actually talked to me, or you guys talked to me first before you engaged. So when did you guys actually talk to law enforcement and give your statements to them?
So as soon as we got off the water from searching for Nolan,
which is on the day of the 5th?
Yeah, the 5th. As soon as we got off the water, I got a phone call. I believe he got a phone call too.
Yeah, I got a phone call while we were out there.
I got a phone call too
as well.
So basically what it was saying was, hey, take a few questions over the phone, answer the questions, and then they had a date for us to come in for actual questioning.
Okay.
And mine was the 6th, there was like the next day or something like that, you know. I think theirs was too.
I believe mine was the 7th, I would like to say, but not for sure. But
mine was around.
Regardless, like we all cooperated fully. It's not like we had something.
Yeah,
like
full
we were trying to
cooperation from the start.
Yeah,
really.
100%.
And how deep did they go in this interview with you guys?
Oh, they asked.
All the way. I mean, they
All the
asked.
way,
I mean,
how long was the interview? Like, was it
an
hour
hour?
Hour and a half. I dotted every I, crossed every T.
Yeah.
I told my friends, like, listen, go in there and like say every detail of like even what you like ate for breakfast that morning. It doesn't matter, everything you have, because like anything could help.
So why you don't come out here and do the same thing, bruh? Why you don't do the same thing, man? Tell us every detail, man, because it seems like you're leaving something out, man. Like, what happened to Nolan? Huh? What happened to Nolan, man?
Help, you literally never know, and like it's what we all did. Like we all cooperated, we all wanted to help, we all did everything that we could to help. Regarding this situation, it's not like we just like.
I could say personally, I started my story from the night before.
Yeah, I started
whenever I got off work on Friday.
I started my story from last 5th of July. Like, she was like, all right, take me back to day one. And I was like, all right, I mean, we've been talking about this since the 5th of July last year. Like what we're gonna do, like how we're gonna make this better, how are we gonna make this funner, like.
As far as the investigation is concerned, did you guys give your phones over to investigators?
Yes.
He said they was talking about this since the last 5th of July, right? But earlier, his man said they was just at the island a week ago for a birthday party. And if we wanted to do something, we'd have did it then. Ain't that what he said just in the same interview? He said we was at the island a week ago having a party and there was nobody there. So why would we wait to bring them on the 4th when there's a bunch of people and do something? These people are lying, man. Why? let's see if he mentioned the birthday party, right? That they so-called had a week before that. Let's go.
We gave our phones over freewillingly. It was our choice just to give our phones over, let them look through them, whatever they wanted to do, and got them back.
Because we have nothing to hide. We wanted to be fully transparent with, the sheriff's department, everybody else included, including the FBI, and anything to do with justice. We wanted to help out, and that's what we did. We gave our phones up, and like Jack stated, we have nothing, we literally have nothing to hide. So.
Yeah. And everybody gave their phones up.
Correct. Yep.
To be forensically evaluated by the FBI.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So while on the topic of phones.
Yeah, but how we know they gave up their actually phones? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, my man, hold on. I can guarantee right now, B. Watch this. Let me show y'all something. Look. Check this out. This one phone, right? It's one phone. It's working too, look. Huh? It's one phone. Right? Here's two phones. Look, I'm watching the show on this one. Two phones. I'm watching the show on that one. Right? Y'all ready? Check this out. All right, here we go. Let's do this, right? You want phones? Here goes 3 phones, right? 3, right? 4, right? 4, right? 5 phones so far, right? 6 phones so far. 6 phones so far, man. What phone did they turn over? You understand? Which phone did you give them? We don't know. We don't know, man. We don't know. Yeah. I know this thing is getting tiring, man. Just listening to them talk, man. It's starting to give me headaches every time I think about it.
Did you guys have any access to Nolan's phone? Did you delete anything out of Nolan's phone? What's your thoughts on Miss Christine saying things may have been deleted?
My thought is that's a blatant lie. I know for a fact that this is the thing. We have no reason to get on Nolan's phone. I have no reason to get on any of my friends' phones. If I had a reason to get on Nolan's phone, I wouldn't be able to get on it because I don't know Nolan's password. I don't know any of my friends' passwords. If I handed Jax my phone right now, he wouldn't be able to get on my phone. I have nothing.
I'd have him permanently locked out of that thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to get on Nolan's phone to delete anything. But in the first place, we have nothing to delete on Nolan's phone. Like, I don't know what this, because Nolan didn't take Snapchats that day. That means things were deleted.
He was just living in the moment.
We were just living in the moment like every guy on the planet Earth does. I mean, like, I'm not sitting here filming my whole day. And I get Nolan, took a lot of pictures, but just because Nolan didn't take any pictures from July 3rd to July 4th doesn't mean we deleted something. No, Nolan just didn't take any pictures. And that's perfectly fine. I have one video in my camera roll saved from the 4th of July,
So last question, is there anything you guys want to say to the audience regarding this interview that wasn't covered?
Of course you only got one picture in your phone because you was occupied doing other things, motherfucker. Don't play with us. Lady said the boy took pictures all the time. He should have had plenty of shit on there from that day. What you talking about? Go ask my moms, people that know me, right? And ask them what I do when they see me at family gatherings or any type of event where there's a crowd. Ask them what I'm doing. If I might even have a drone in the air taking pictures, because I want pictures of everything. Huh? So for you to say, like, the dude was just zoned out and forgot his whole craft for the whole day, which is supposed to be a very important day. Your boy right here just said y'all was planning this since the 5th of last year. To come back this year and not take not one picture sounds crazy to me, all right?
Or something you just want to get off your chest?
I mean, Nolan was like a brother to all of us. I mean, we loved him dearly.
Yeah, Nolan was like a brother to us, and I can say without a doubt, nobody wants to know what happened to him more than we do. I mean, we want to know what happened to our best friend more than anybody, and I promise you that.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who's like sat here and supported us through this horrible moment. I mean, we're still teenagers at the end of the day, and for the internet to come and people to come and accuse you of killing your best friend, it's a horrible thing. And
Yo, I grew up in New York City, baby. Let me see. Let me see. Let me just pick one. Let me just pick one of my good friends. And I'm going to say it was a good friend of mine because I used to sleep on the man's couch. Right? With his whole family in the house. He had a sister in the back. Him and his brother was in their room. His moms and pops was in the front. And I was in their living room. No? A friend of mine. I had to been 15. He probably was 14. Huh? He caught 25 years for committing murder on somebody, man. So for you to say we only teenagers at the end of the day, what the does that mean, bro? Like teenagers don't commit murders or something, man? Knock it off, man. I know your lawyer got y'all in your feelings when you say shit like, these are some very upstanding, man, you little motherfucking rugrats, man. Knock it off.
I know no one wouldn't want this.
No.
And it's terrible that it's come to this. It's terrible that it's come to a race battle. But I want everybody to know how much we appreciate the support, and that my friends and I literally sit there and pray for everybody who's sitting here and sending this hate on everybody. Like, my friends are really upset about this, and so am I, that like this has turned into this huge thing. So, I just want people to know that, we're praying for people. Our faith with the Lord's strong, and we're gonna make it through this regardless of what people say about us.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. Nolan is turning in his grave right now. This is the last thing he would ever want his friends to go through.
Yeah.
Like the absolute last. Like,
you mean to tell me Nolan Wells is turning over in his grave because you little motherfuckers is being questioned in his disappearance? That's what you gonna stand by that, young man? Huh? That would give a motherfucker reason to turn his grave because you guys is in the hot waters. If it didn't look like a situation, you wouldn't be in one, right? It looks like you guys did something to Nolan, brother. It ain't like we just out of the clear blue picked you dudes to want to accuse of this, man. You're either a witness, right, or suspect. The choice is yours. But you're one of them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The last time we saw the man alive, he was with you guys, man. Right? If me, my peoples, and everybody, we all go off and somebody disappeared, guess who they coming to get? The last people that he was with, man. And if we can't put him off onto somebody else, guess who they taking in for his disappearance, man? The last people he was seen alive with, bruh. Which clearly would be you dudes, man. You got his phone, his car keys. He spent the night at your house. Y'all got up, left him in the morning. And where was he at this time when y'all was running around? Nolan seemed to be the laziest dude on the whole trip. He spent the night at your house, but in the morning, y'all broke out and left the man. And clearly he left his car there, so how did he get to the pier and the beach and all that? If his car was still at your house, with the keys in the house on the Xbox. How the girl know that? I don't know. She called from outside and said, check the Xbox. Okay. That don't make no sense either, but all right. Don't be acting like we making it look like y'all did something when clearly it looks like y'all did something.
He's, gosh, he would not want any of this. He wouldn't want this publicity.
This is place.
The fact that we couldn't even go to our best friend's funeral because, one, we didn't want to take the attention.
That's because y'all suckers. You're soft. Because you're suckers and you're soft. You're suckers and you're soft. That's why. Because if that was my best friend and I know I ain't do nothing, I'd have went. Point blank, period.
Away from him. I mean, that was his day. We didn't want to do that. And the fact that we couldn't even go to our best friend's funeral is horrible. That's something we got to live with.
The rest of our lives.
Yeah, but we thinking you might have to live with the fact that y'all were the reason that he had a funeral in the first place.
You say you couldn't go. Can you explain that a little more? What were you told that you couldn't go, or was it something that you derived from the feedback that you've been getting from the family? What made you ultimately make the decision not to go to the funeral?
So it was a little bit of both. It was one, well, at first we had our heads down. We're like, all right, we're going to go. We want to go. This is the last time we ever get to see our best friend. We're going to go. And then
But unfortunately, they kept parts and pieces of the boy, and he had to have a closed casket. So how was you going to see him anyway? Huh? Oh, all right.
As soon as we made up our minds with that, everybody was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you are not. You are going to either get jumped, hurt, something bad's going to happen to you, go to that funeral. And then on top of that, they point out another fact that we're going to take the attention away from him, and that's the last thing we want to do.
Yeah, 100%. And like they both said, like Nolan's like a brother to us, and now me and all my friends have to live with. Imagine you were 19 years old and your best friend just died, and now the whole internet's accusing you of killing him. And on top of that, you can't go to his funeral and say your last goodbyes to one of your best friends. Because regardless, we're going to Jacksonville the same way, and so does White, everybody else. I can speak on their.
First of all, big homie, you know what I mean? The reason why y'all being looked at like that, man, is because y'all can't tell us nothing, man. Like, it's 20 of you motherfuckers out here on the boat with this dude, man, and he comes up missing, and y'all claim y'all don't know nothing. Y'all wish y'all knew what happened. Man, y'all sound like a bunch of idiots up there trying to convince us that y'all don't know nothing. Nothing. And like I said, y'all, check this tape. Go back over this tape to Warren's little interview, right? Because I swear I heard him say he tried to call his moms 8 times, but he couldn't get through because she was on the north side of the island and he was on the east. And like the lady said, did the kids, did they pull up and the parents go off and leave the kids with the boats? Let's look into that.
About this, regardless about what the internet says about our relationships with Nolan, we know from the bottom of our heart who Nolan was to us and who we were to Nolan. And at the end of the day, I could say this confidently. We were Nolan's closest friends, and we were Nolan's best friends. And this isn't a competition. I know a bunch of guys that were best friends with Nolan too, like Javon and him. Javon and Nolan were like brothers too, but this isn't to take attention away from them, but this was a brotherhood. Like this was my brother, and for someone to take away, and the internet to take away our privileges to go to his funeral because they think this was a racial thing is absolutely horrible. And like we all feel that way. Like it's
you going to your best friend's funeral out on yourself. Because like I just said, you scared. You assume somebody's going to do something to you. Black people ain't that uncivilized, man, where we're going to attack a bunch of people coming to pay their respects at a funeral. If anything, we wait for after the funeral and catch y'all at a later date and time. See? We ain't going to do nothing like that at the funeral and disrespect our loved one that's being buried. Right? So, that's you. That's you. Once again, that's the three of yous, man. Because if you could have came, you could have brought the police with you. Y'all all connected, right? Your mom's is the judge, right? Y'all could have went. Y'all could have went. And nobody would have messed with y'all. Not at all. I mean, you probably got a few dirty looks, but you couldn't take that for your man's evil? Couple of dirty looks? Huh? It's a little funny style, homie, don't you think? Let's finish up.
Sick. Like, seriously, it's absolutely sick.
Thank you guys for coming on the interview. I think it's very courageous and brave. I know that you guys know this, that...
Well, it's funny now, they brave and courageous to come sit down with you, but they wasn't brave and courageous enough to go see their best friend, who people was accusing of taking out of here, his funeral. Like, that would have been some brave shit to do. You know what I mean? Bootlicker? Huh? Look at the bootlicker. Straight bootlicker, man. Yo, y'all already know my motto, man. We're going to get back at this a little bit later at a later day in time, but I'm just so glad today is not Monday.
Monday is the worst, first day of the week. Always seem to feel I never get enough sleep. Tuesday's the one day, feels like a Sunday, and if it wasn't for Monday, I wouldn't even notice. Wednesday's the hump day, get you out the slump day. Thursday's the day before that